been once before.
You've had a red band?
Yeah, but with lube.
With lube. Josh Barnett, the Warmaster. Joshy
Indeed.
B. In Australia, he would be known as Joshy B or Barno. Barno.
Yeah.
How the fuck did you end up on a podcast in Morphevale, South Australia? The home of Craig Jones, might I add.
How did I end up here? Probably bad life choices.
Yeah.
Cheers.
It's fucking DC's fault.
I'm way more than that. That's a small tale in the progression of all the stupid shit I've done in my life.
Before we get into the stupid shit you've done in your life, because I would love to hear more about that. That is sweet. Got like a, but like a not like a artificial sweetness. It's got like a real delicious sweetness.
It comes from the Pedro Jimenez sherry cask finish that we use on the end. And it being a bourbon, it usually has a little bit of sweetness to it as well, being that we our mash bill is 75% corn, which with bourbon, it has to be at least 51% or more. So we go 75% corn and 25% malted rye.
That's way too easy to drink for 49%.
And this is, 49%. And this is our blend, whereas our Warmaster editions are cask strength. So they'll be anywhere from 109 to 115, 116.
Same flavor profile? Cask strength, yes, it's from a singular malt or singular barrel.
Cask strength in and of itself would just mean that whatever the proof it came out of the barrel or barrels at. So we also did, last year I did the round one blend, where I did a cask strength blend. That one came out, I think, at 110 or 112. But the Warmaster editions are single barrel. So that one would come only from one barrel and whatever the proof was. And each barrel will be a little different in its own ways. Like the first barrel I pulled from, Warmaster, the first edition, it's 109 proof, very buttery, creamy vanillas, in addition to all the different smoke elements and things. And then barrel 2, the second edition at least, even when you, upon popping the cork, you get a big waft of smoke and really dark chocolate and cherries. So
this is very, very, very smoky, but in like a nice way.
Yeah, it's
more
barbecue.
Is that from the mesquite?
Yes. Yeah, 75% of the 75% corn mash bill is smoked. The other 25% of that corn mash bill is a honey corn that we roast. And after about 3 hours or so, I mean, the distillery smells amazing and delicious, and you can just pull some of these corn kernels out and just eat them.
Yeah,
they're delicious, lovely.
I know. So I judge a whiskey or a scotch. I'll always judge a whiskey, scotch, bourbon, anything that in that realm. I'll judge how much I like it by how immediate I need a fucking cigarette as soon as I drink it.
And you're already lit.
Oh mate, you're not a smoker, but I've seen you smoke cigars.
I smoke cigars.
I fucking wish I got some because there was a cigar shop right near where you're staying. But there is nothing better than if you're not. I'm not advocating for smoking, but if you vape, you probably should start smoking because it's better for you.
It's much better than vaping. All that bullshit is running through probably Chinese-made, I don't know, little children's bones.
Put tariffs on them.
Yeah, and plastic, and who knows, all kinds of like dubious metal alloys, and heating them up and then pulling them into your lungs. I once told a comedian, rather heavy comedian, he was vaping pretty hard, and I said, I heard that there's all these news articles and things going around about how dangerous vaping can be and how there are types of ailments coming from this that is specific, like popcorn lung, they say. He's like, damn, popcorn, what's that? And I was like, probably just made you want to vape more, huh? Like, popcorn lung sounds delicious. He's looked at me, he's like, fuck you.
So when we started, we were talking about like some of your ups and downs of your career. Do you have like moments in it where you're like, fuck, I wish I could have done that again? Was it like we were talking about the DC fight beforehand?
I mean, to a degree.
But then you explained what you were going for, and it makes it when you look at it. When I look at it now, I will look at it very differently to what I have.
So I have to suffer the attempted insult, which is usually how it's used. of the fact that, there's this video, there's this clip of DC getting in a high crotch and lifting me and throwing me to the mat. But the thing is, he shot in and I felt, okay, he's going to try and lift me. So I'm going to go light. I'm going to go up with him. I'm going to make it easy for him, because by making it easy, what I'm hoping to do is transition on the way down and turn deliberately and try to reach under and capture his leg. And if I can do that, like in collegiate wrestling, they'll have things like, what do they have? They call it not funk roll exactly, but guy will get shot on and he'll dive in on the guy's ankle, go to the floor, and he's picking the ankle and he's trying to come up around and create a scramble and come out on top. Because the guy penetrated in, got in on that shot, would probably finish it if you use your standard defenses. So, okay, I'm going to create some chaos, dive in on this ankle and see what I can do. Well, we're fighting in Strikeforce, so it's MMA. One of the things, and I've done this in practice, is as somebody's coming in on me, if you're getting the better of me, I'll dive in on that ankle and try to find your leg and find a leg submission. So I thought, okay, I'll go light. I'll invert. I'll go after that leg. I couldn't get to his fucking leg. And now it's just a clip of me getting lifted. I'm like, legs. Fuck you
those
cunts.
goddamn little stumpy DC legs.
The thing is, this is one of those like all or nothing kind of things, right? So I got the nothing. So I didn't get it. Now it's something where people are like, oh, this, that, and the other. Versus if I had hooked it up, got in on his leg, then it's just like
instant go.
Yeah, but whatever.
We were touching on a few things. We actually went and had a jug at the Austral. So Josh Barnett is South Australian confirmed now. Having a jug at the Austral's
I drive V8s. I drink. I've been in lots of fights. I'm basically honorary Australian.
Do you have casual racism built into you?
Fully.
That's a big trademark of Australia.
Yeah. Give me what you got. Yeah.
But so we went and we were talking, and I asked him, not if do you envy current fighters because of it feels like it's not as niche a sport now. It's more validated. You're more of a it's more of a household name to be an MMA fighter now. Do you feel like if you could have been born in a different era, would you have?
No. I like and everything.
But then you're a pioneer, so it's very
trade-offs.
different.
Everything is a trade-off for the most part. So, you're sucking on that butt and it feels good and it increases your heart rate a bit and keeps you thinner and it's relaxing.
I'm going to die in 20 years.
Yeah, exactly. It helps your brain. Nicotine actually helps your brain operate better. Like it has cognitive elements to it. It's a nootropic. But if I had been born... Well, shit, if I was 24 years old, 25, 26, even up to 28, whatever, right? Around this era of UFC heavyweights, I would be like champion forever. But...
you reckon?
It's just not the same.
Really?
It's so much more shallow of a pool.
Really?
And there's not as many.
Even Jones is champion?
I think I could beat him back in my
prime
heyday.
for prime.
Yeah. I do.
You're not talking now. You're talking prime for prime. Just to relate everyone.
But well, look, I'll fight anybody if I got to. I mean, if John Jones walks through that garage door right now, we're going at it.
I fucking hope so, because I'm leaving.
That would be the weirdest thing ever. But really, what I'm trying to get at is that in this more modern age, the ability to be more of a star, more of a household name, with all the things that could branch off of any notoriety that you gain through the UFC, not to mention the paydays, potential pay-per-view bonuses, and different things of that nature. I mean, there's still a long way to go towards really allowing the fighters to incentivize their ability to earn as much as possible from what they draw in, but still you could just make a ton more money, right? And get a ton more notoriety, basically more fame and fortune.
Could you earn a ton more money now, though?
Oh, yeah.
Even as like a D1 athlete in Pride?
Yeah.
Like what was...
Well, no. Pride
I was going to say...
paid fantastic, but the UFC offers payouts with pay-per-view bonuses and things like that
Yeah.
that exceed what Pride paid.
I was going to say, like, what would have Fedor been earning in his prime? He would have been on fucking...
He'd have been up there. Yeah, that's true.
He would have been on an ungodly amount of money.
Not anywhere near what a boxer makes.
Oh, yeah, if you're talking boxing, but I would dare say that Fedor's earning more than John Jones is now.
Probably not.
You don't reckon?
Nope.
You'd know better than me.
No, he's not.
Really?
And if he is, fine. I will consider myself and my guess and my estimate as being incorrect. But basically what it comes down to is that, well, as far as boxing is concerned, it's the incentivization model. It's the ability to draw money off of you getting a piece of the tickets, getting a piece of the pay-per-views in a different, with more chunk going towards you, getting a piece of merchandising. You just cut in on so much more stuff. So it's not like you're getting paid more money out of, let's say, some promoter or some specific direct cash, payment. What you're getting is you're allowed to make money off of the money you draw. That's the difference. So
You're allowed to wear sponsors. You're allowed to all these things.
Correct. But even if without the sponsors, if there's a fight T-shirt, right? Josh Barnett versus John Jones or whatever, right? We would be able to get a cut of every shirt that was sold, every ticket that was sold, even potentially of beer and food and alcohol sold in the arena, and so on and so forth. The more we pull in, the more money we would make. And that's why that model can make a fighter quite a lot of money. Then if you are also the promoter, that's how De La Hoya as well as Floyd Mayweather made so much money, is because they're the promoter and the fighter. So they're getting cuts both ways, which is why they might pull in like 100 million or some other crazy thing.
Do you think fighters, I don't want to say deserve, but do you think 100 million is necessary? Like, I think that's a bit like over. Like everyone argues about fighter pay.
It's not about, look, if
it's a hard question because
it's not that hard. It's just hard to formulate the answer here. This is what it's like. A fighter isn't upset about the money they make until they find out that they could have made more.
Yes.
A fighter isn't upset about the money they make until they find out the promotion is making X amount.
Yes.
Now, I've been a promoter. I am a promoter still.
Bloodsport, shout out.
Yeah. Josh Barnett's Bloodsport, greatest, hardest hitting pro wrestling event in the world. Look at that. It's like,
welcome to Australia.
No, this is like a Snow White moment.
It's befriended
if
you.
Snow White was a bogan in fucking Southern Australia. Instead of a butterfly landing on your finger, you get a fucking fly.
It's a housefly.
God damn. So anyways, what a moment, right? How Disney. So the promoter is always going to make the most, by and large. Why? They put up the most to do it, right? They put the money down to secure the venue. They worked out all the deals to get the TV rights and do this and do that. Like, they put the most out there on the line. They have the potential to lose their ass, right? Like, a promoter is essentially, so to speak, gambling on their event. And the fighter gambles a little bit, to some degree, varying degrees, on themselves to compete in the event. But the fighter should have more capability of making money off of what they bring in. If they don't bring in the money, then they don't get those bigger checks.
Yeah.
But if they're able to draw those crowds and able to draw that interest and able to draw those sales of various items, if they got a cut of that, boom, there could be 100 million. There could be this, there could be that, right? And I don't compare fighters with like footballers or Aussie footballers or rugby or whatever.
100 grand a year.
Whatever the case may
crazy.
be. Okay. Or soccer players or what have you. Because let's say with it's soccer, right? They could play their whatever league they're in, then they can play their World Cup league, then they can play. So there's all these different
avenues.
ways. And it's not just one club paying them for whatever. Potentially it's broad league merchandising. It can be that club, then the national team they're playing for. Then there's so many ways in which they're able to monetize these funds.
Yeah.
And then these clubs are making money off of a variety of different ways, by selling the team.
Yeah.
In a sense, for people to view them and watch them and do this and do that. I get it. So there's always going to be more money in trying to sell a soccer team's whatever they're drawing money off of versus just one person. But there is a pretty still wide gulf between what a fighter could honestly draw and make money off of and what we're allowed to. And that's just the restriction within the way the system is arranged. But with that, outside of that element, I liked the fighting way of things 10,000 times better than these days. I fought in all these different rule sets. I headbutted people in the face at times. I fought underground. I fought sanctioned. I fought in Japan. I fought in Poland. I fought in all these different places. I fought with soccer kicks to the head of, on a grounded opponent and stomping and knees. And there is no adventure in the same way with MMA like there used to be. It used to feel like fucking real life Street Fighter 2. Now it just feels like any other fucking thing you watch on Prime or Sky or whatever. Who cares?
Yeah. It's like you said before with would you have been born in a different era? There's so many pros and cons.
If I would have been born in a different era, it probably would have been the 7th century.
Yeah,
I'd have been on somebody's fucking beachfront as I'm running up this beachhead. Yeah, exactly. That would have been my different era.
But like you said, there's drawbacks and everything. Like the athleticism of a modern day MMA athlete is fucking incredible.
It's great, but they overloaded on the athleticism and didn't build as much of the fight spirit.
But then you get an outlier like a Gaethje.
Yeah,
or
of course.
like you get those outliers every now and then.
But Gaethje fights stupid.
I love
right?
it.
He's got a D1 wrestling background and doesn't use it.
It's
and you're
crazy.
just like,
That's
what are you
actually
thinking?
it's
Or then he
crazy.
does use it and then gets fucking submitted by Khabib. And you're like, God damn it.
Do you actually? That's
Speaking from someone who likes Gaethje, by the way.
That's one thing I noticed. So today when I was watching you obviously have a very heavy catch wrestling background. I will never pretend like I am an aficionado in all the subcultures of wrestling and grappling.
I saw you kick a bag today.
Yeah, I was kicking
for about
a bag.
27 seconds.
Yeah, and then I was tired. And then, but I will never pretend like I know, like grappling, like metal heavy metal has so many subsets and subcultures and variants. It's just confusing. So catch wrestling, is it similar to like a sambo?
No.
What is the difference between sambo and catch wrestling?
Well, for one, sambo has the kurtka, which is a jacket that they wear. Sambo has very limited engagement on the ground, where catch has no restrictions to the engagement on the ground.
I thought sambo was essentially like submission grappling, but with wrestling.
No. Sambo is kind of like a blend between wrestling, catch wrestling, judo, and yeah, it's
I only
like
say
that.
it because I saw you when I was watching the seminar today. I was watching you do like you were demonstrating the Dagestani handcuff, but you called it a different name.
Well, because it's a classic.
It's just coined as I would know it. I know it as the Dagestani
through MMA,
handcuff.
right? It became like a catchy term, but no, it's a classic, just a 2-on-1 from amateur folk style wrestling.
So would you? This leads to my question. Would you say
or wrist ride, 2-on-1 wrist ride? That's all it's called.
Would you say that the Dagestanis are running one of the most powerful dynasties MMA has ever seen, bar the Brazilians?
It's pretty fucking strong, and part of that is because even though with the now, here's the thing. Dagestanis are not as sambo as you think. They're heavily invested in wrestling. So when you see a Khabib and an Islam, and they use shit tons of wrestling. Not nearly as much sambo as you think. Sambo, when you look at it at the highest levels, there's a lot of, it's really more judo-centric. Because there's a way of winning in sambo. If you throw a guy while you're on the feet, if you link into him and throw him, and you remain standing and you throw them straight to their back, that is called total victory or something like that. That sounds dicey.
Total victory.
Yeah, or Mortal Kombat. But you throw them to their back, and that's it. Match is over. That's basically the equivalent of a judo ippon. But if you throw them and you land on the floor as well, then it's not a total victory. It keeps going. But Sambo's got like 10 seconds on the floor. And if you watch high-level Sambo, they cross their arms and cross their feet, and they tuck, and they just sit on the floor and try not to allow you to do anything. And then if you can't get in on them, stands up. So it's really a whole lot more like judo. And a lot of the Sambas are heavy judo guys. Then you have combat Sambo, which allows punching, headbutts, and kicks and stuff like that. But there's still a point system that goes into it. But you'll still see a lot of guys, be it Fedor or others, using a ton of judo throws, taking people down that way. Whereas catch as catch can is really more akin to folk style or, say, collegiate style American wrestling, because collegiate, aka folk style, is 100% directly derived from catch wrestling. Because most styles back in the day didn't really allow the fight to continue, the match to continue on the floor in the same way that catch did.
Yeah.
Kushti did in India and then northern India, which then became Pakistan. You had Iran. You had a few other places. You had Turkish oil wrestling, which allowed wrestling on the ground as well as on the feet. Well, and so for them, you get them down. You're trying to turn them over onto their shoulders.
It's
and if
a
you do that,
peculiar sport.
Right. So they'll sit there in that base position and try not to get turned. But a lot of traditional styles of wrestling, as soon as you take a guy from their feet and anything other than the bottoms of their feet touch the ground, that's it. It's over. It's over. Like, match is done. Whereas with catch wrestling, catch as catch can, basically catch them, get them any way you can. So these
I seen that in your seminar today. You were like, it doesn't matter how you get there, almost.
Well,
I don't want to give too much away about your seminar, but you were talking about posts. You don't want to be fancy. Just get rid of the fucking post.
Well, yeah, and that was because I was trying to take a concept and deliver it across a class of varying degrees of experience and capability.
That was one of the best seminars I've seen.
Well, thank you. And to do so, I felt like the best way to approach that was to think about it more of playing games and delivering concepts than it was about
drilling.
Yeah, specific drilling or technical technique work, because I couldn't know where everybody was at. I mean, we had one kid today, he's probably like 30 years old, who pretty raw, but very physical and very athletic. I could teach him a bunch of moves, and maybe he's too busy like trying to figure out which hand is the left hand, right? But instead, I'm just trying to get him to understand what the game plan is and what is the ultimate goal and how are you going to get there. And
goal
from there,
keep him on the fucking floor.
And I can watch him make one mistake, right, and just correct that, because he's trying to accomplish the goal that I set out for him along the parameters and the ideas that I put out there. But now I can say, don't do that in this instance. And not sit back and say, don't do that ever, or try to create really hard lines in terms of his approach towards it, but instead keep him more on the path of accomplishing the goal and less on the path of technically put your arm here at this time and then do this. And then if they do that, it's just a whole lot more for a person to try and digest and to keep into the forefront of their mind.
I imagine gyms back when you were training, the training was very different. Or has your training always been measured?
Matt Hume was a very scientific type trainer.
Ahead of his time.
Eric Paulson is like a walking, talking encyclopedia of martial arts. And I mean, like, if you asked him, how do you like armbar a guy? You do it this way. How do you armbar a guy in the middle of a podcast? You do it like this. How do you armbar a guy in the middle of a podcast while you ride your motorcycle into the garage? Like, he would figure out a way. Like, he's just that guy. He's so diverse and experienced in his martial knowledge. But even then, back in the day with Matt, I mean, fuck, man. One of my first earliest memories of sparring with Matt, and we were doing a tie clinch drill, and he plows a knee into me and drops me. And I'm like, well, that sucked. But okay, fuck. I'm just going to try and recover here. And Matt just keeps kneeing me. Get up, get up, get up. I mean, that's the way it was. Like, oh, fuck. Okay, this isn't stopping just because I got dropped. Okay, fuck, you're right. Get up. and building that kind of resilience into somebody to where if you can keep going, you better fucking keep going.
Tough love.
Yeah.
I actually have. I don't know if this story is true or not. I heard it from a third party.
Who knows?
So I have a glove there signed by Hector Lombard.
Oh, lovely. I already know where this is going. Fuck.
I don't know if it's true or not. So apparently there must be some sort of truth to it. Have you?
It depends on what you've heard.
Oh,
but yeah.
wait. We got to. Is it? Were you involved in a very, 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 very long boxing round one time?
Yeah, that did happen.
Is that one of the like? Are you like? Phew, that's the story.
Sure, we'll just stop with that one. That one was just basically I showed up late. And I jumped in and didn't even throw hand wraps on and just chucked my gloves on. I was like, okay, yeah, we're just going to jump in and we're just going to start light and go easy and get warm. And fucking Hector fucking blasted me right in the nose. And now I'm bleeding. And I'm like, okay, if that's how it is. And we're just banging it out. It was just dumb.
He's very notorious for that.
Yeah, he is. But look, I'm not going to bury Hector here because, one, I think if Hector was able to get the things in order that he would have, that were holding, this sounds so vague. Hector had the potential to be like an absolute fucking killer. And we were talking about what a muscle up was. And he's like, hey man, where's the muscle up, man? And I was like, well, come here, Hector. So it's like a pull up, right? But if you do a pull up, but then pull yourself over the bar all the way and straighten your arms out. Like this, man. He does like 8 of them. Like, yeah, that. Fuck.
You can't.
Yeah, he is a sick fucking cunt, mate. He was incredible. Some of the shit he could do. And I remember Hector's only issue is Hector. And that is to say, like, he was the only thing that could restrict his ability to grow.
He was in his own way.
And, but his early on, you could see capabilities like diving toe holds and all kinds of stuff. Like very, very, very talented. Just could really just wreck shop. Very skilled, very explosive. Like he's like he reminds me a bit of the other fucking Cuban fucking experiment. It's bonkers.
Did you fight that cunt?
Yeah.
Could you imagine that cunt being in your division? Just like, you don't know.
I could beat him, but
See, that is a very interesting fight because Yoel has very good wrestling.
He does, but see, the thing is, like, go ahead and take me down. What are you going to do with me then? And then if you're going to keep it on the feet,
did he?
I'll fucking bury a knee into you. But at the end of the day, let's say I go out there and I knock out Yoel Romero with like combo into a knee into his guts and whatever, and TKO him out. He gets up with his fucking fresh, oiled, beautiful abs. He's like 800 years old.
Leaps over
the cage, says, "Don't forget gay Jesus" or whatever, and I'm like,
"Don't forget gay Jesus."
Yeah, and I feel all beat up and fucking rugged and ragged, and I got maybe I got a black eye, and he's like, "Fuck yeah!" Like, you're eternal. Like I can win the fight and lose the war with Yoel Romero because he's eternal. Like he just doesn't. He's just perfectly like black and flushed and buff and like, oh fuck, man. You just don't ever get old.
It's so funny. Do you have a partner?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I have a fiance. She's amazing.
Is she engrossed into like MMA culture?
Not so much, but it wasn't a thing in her life until she met me.
So same with my girlfriend.
Yeah,
it was the same as you. It wasn't in her life until she was with me, and I'm trying to explain to a girl that you're not a homosexual when you're talking about these men is so. It's so.
Why bother?
Because it's like, have a look how fucking hot this cunt is. Look at his body. He's 50 years old. He's from Cuba. No one knows how old he is. She's like, you realize you're not normal. And like, even before, like yesterday, I was like rushing around the house cleaning the shed, and she's like, why are you all flustered? I'm like, Josh Barnett's coming tomorrow. He might want to take a piss outside. I might get a look at his hog. She's like, it's pretty fucking gay.
That is, yeah.
But MMA is such a funny
circumcised,
sport.
so there you go.
Circumcised?
Yeah, but I'm not Jewish.
I was going to say one of them.
Just an American thing.
It's a hot topic at the moment in America.
Fuck, if you're fucking from Mississippi or whatever, you feel like saying, I pitched with this guy, before meth. Because it was the meth that was the big problem. It was the meth that was the issue.
Yeah, we like them. We in Australia, meth's pretty fucking big.
Well, I don't see you guys putting together fucking concentration camps over meth. So I think
Shout out to Bryce Mitchell.
Yeah. Anyways, Bryce, I think you meant well, but fucking
Did you see the episode they did on Jackson got deleted?
No. I saw a Rampage being like, God damn it, why do I got to explain this shit? And it's like, yeah, why do you? You're Rampage. You should be able to say
Rampage.
and do every dumb thing you want to in your life.
Rampage and Rashad Evans just got announced.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Boxing.
No, I've been chatting with him. Yeah, he's a good friend of mine. We're old school sparring partners. And I coached Rampage for a while too. He's a great guy. Love him.
I think Rampage would be like a top 5 podcast for me of all time if I could have one.
He's amazing. He's such a funny, amazing guy.
I'd love to sit across from him and just have a drink. I just feel like he would be fucking hilarious.
He is.
And imagine you and him probably have a very deep affinity for each other because you both were and in Pride.
Did you see our podcast we did?
Yes.
Yeah. We go way the fuck back.
That Jackson podcast might be my shout out to Jackson as well. I think Jackson at the moment is the best MMA podcast.
Yeah, right on. World. Rampage and Bear, congratulations and bringing in TJ and Rockhold. Yeah,
dude,
thanks,
he's done, and it's such a unique platform because Bear's not the focus of it.
No,
it's like Rampage kind of takes over. TJ knows when to talk. Rockhold's just over in the corner looking hot, trying to sleep with people's misses. Like, that's just. He's got nothing to say. He's just trying to sleep with people's girlfriends. That's all he's trying to do. I remember. So I saw Craig. Me and Craig were drinking together when he came back to Adelaide last time.
Another fucking amazing cunt. Yeah, what a great guy.
So me and Craig, this was fresh off of the Colombia trip after CJI.
Oh, goodness.
When he took over Luke Rockhold. And he was like, I was like, what's Luke Rockhold like in person? He's like, Sav, Luke Rockhold, he is that attractive. He doesn't understand that if you have a girlfriend, he can't sleep with her. And in my head, I'm like, that's exactly how I imagine Luke Rockhold.
Speaking of gay, I've never seen Craig Jones with a woman.
No, I've seen him take pictures with them.
I
reckon he had more fun in Thailand than he did in fucking Colombia.
I love Craig. He's a right good cunt and classy guy. Actually, very kind-hearted, hilarious. But I think Americans are unequipped to deal with
his sarcasm,
and that is Aussie as fuck, and they just don't get it. And I've told people like, you need to get it. Like, you need to understand something. Like, one, don't take everything he says at face value, and don't not that serious, and do not bite. Do not bite on it.
Yeah, Gordon.
Unless you really feel like you feel like sparring, don't fucking bite.
There is not an American on this earth, comedian, nothing. There is no American on this earth that is more quick-witted than a fucking finely tuned Australian.
Oh God, yeah, they're hard to deal with.
A finely tuned Australian.
A good finely trained Englishman can be hard to deal with too. Which
but English culture and we're fucking they're all English here. They came here. We all know the story.
Yeah.
Like, do you know what I mean? But fucking Americans' humor, it does, unless you've obviously spent time with Australians.
Yeah,
like,
I love them.
If you haven't, it goes past your head. Like Joe Rogan's last episode with Craig, so many zingers just going over and over, and I was like, oh no, Joe's a fucking boomer.
Craig is great. I think he's fucking hilarious.
He's also so underrated as a jiu-jitsu athlete because of his comedy. Craig is one of the best in the world.
I wouldn't say it's not somewhat because of his comedy, but also because of the whole taking second place thing.
He's gone into the character. Craig, very good.
He's amazing.
He could still perform at ADCC
yes,
easily.
He could. Craig is the kind of guy where I don't care if he takes fifth, second, first, whatever. None of that matters to the fact of his skill sets, his ability, and the thing that because people are so short, they have such a short memory these days, so short-minded. They don't understand where Craig started when he first came on to more of the international scene to where he's at now, and not taking into account the journey that this fucking guy has gone on, and the
started from fucking a little like this place here. We had no jiu-jitsu here.
Yeah,
like a world champion came from fucking 10 minutes down the road from here.
But even when he was coming onto the scene and a high level guy and respected for his game in the beginning, to seeing where that game is now, which shows that his ability to, or his want to get on the mats and continue to build upon his game, add new things, adjust, adapt. He doesn't wrestle the same way now that he used to then. He's got, of course, he still has his leg lock game and other stuff, but he's built so many more elements into it, not by being resistant, by being a part of the process of trying to allow himself to become greater. And that's a mark of a true martial artist. And that's why I think that Craig Jones is a really quality, like as a martial artist, is a really fantastic martial artist. Maybe he will never beat Gordon Ryan ever. I don't care, because that doesn't diminish the fact that Craig is still very talented and still very capable.
Do you know who will beat Gordon Ryan?
Who will beat Gordon Ryan?
Nicky Rod.
Maybe.
Nicky Rod will if they do a match.
Maybe. It depends on the rule set.
CJI. CJI 2, super fight, Nicky Rod beats Gordon Ryan. Gordon, that's a lot of pressure. It's like but I'm not saying it as 100%. But if any athlete alive today is going to be it,
I'm 70-30.
70-30.
Yeah.
That's how good Gordon is, though.
It is, and he knows Nicky.
And it's a testament.
Nicky knows him, but he knows Nicky.
It's a testament to how good Gordon is.
He's the best of all time.
There's no
really
denying. It's more clear cut than John Jones being the best of all time.
Yes, it is.
By 100 times.
No, Gordon's the best. Gordon's the best of all time.
He just happens to be a fucking retard. I can say that because I'm not in that circle. And everyone who would fucking kill you? Obviously he would.
Wouldn't, if he was a retard, it wouldn't change it from being a retard by killing you. I'm sure there are actual retards that can kill you too.
Yeah, there possibly is.
Yes, but the point being is not about his acumen towards dealing with one issue or another, or public persona stuff. I would say that I've only really had good experiences with Gordon. I do respect the fact that he has a lot of people around him that have been his friends for a long time. You can't say he's not the best. No, he's absolutely the best. But I mean, I don't have any bad experiences with Gordon. I don't have any bad experiences with Sunny. She was always very nice and very considerate. Gordon was very respectful as well. And the one thing I really appreciated a lot, at least to my knowledge at this point, he never made excuses or cried or threw a fit or hand waved away the times when he lost. Like, they were what they were. He lost that day. He's moving on.
I've never seen him lose.
But tomorrow, he lost. He's lost in the past, but he doesn't. He doesn't say his wrestling's the best in the world, even though he's worked on it. He tries to legitimately take people down off the feet. There was a lot of stuff I felt like where I'd seen certain attitudes in jiu-jitsu allow people to like do a lot of like cope and bullshit, and I didn't see it from him. Now I know I'm sure the internet's going to come screaming on my doorstep, all 5 of them that are listening to this, and tell me how about his tummy aches and blah blah blah. Look, man, I don't know about any of that kind of shit, and look, he didn't do himself any favors by getting into a fucking rumble with Craig verbally. Like
that would be very stress-inducing.
Like I'm not a person that has any problem mincing, like exchanging words and talking shit with people. I don't start them, and it's just not normally my it's not something I really look forward to doing or intend to do. But even I would be like, I wouldn't want to. I mean, I'm not saying he's going to destroy me.
It's relentless.
But I don't want to get into that. I don't want to fucking start tit for tatting, even for fun, with Craig.
No, because you got to think, Craig. Craig has so much free time, and Craig uses all of his free time to fuck with people. But he goes to the length of flying to a different country to do something just to spite you.
Yes.
He is a cunt with an indisposable amount of money.
And time.
And
persistence.
And that's the worst type of person to fuck with.
And an Aussie. Yeah, on top of it all.
And he's a cunt. He's from Adelaide.
Yeah. So
you've given me your drink. You have given me your drink. Honestly, I'm not lying. That might be the best brown liquor I've ever tried.
Fantastic.
And I've fucking had...
You've had a few.
I've had a few.
How's it rank versus Bundy?
Bundy, this...
You're not going to beat your wife over this.
I was going to say, I don't think I'll get into a domestic dispute over this, but I will give you... So, do you want a beer or do you want a Bundy?
No, I don't want to like video chat my girl and yell at her. Just give me a fucking... I'll take a VB.
Give you a VB.
I want a VB because I want a V8 Ute. I want it on some 5-spoke mags. I want to be out in somewhere that's completely and utterly red dirt. I want to be a total fucking cunt.
I'm gonna get one with you.
Yeah, this is like take me to the old Bundy Yaba, the Yaba.
What would you attribute that to for an American drink?
This?
Is it anything like Budweiser?
Yeah, it's kind of close.
Is that a Budweiser drink?
It's basically a session lager.
But you
right? It's easy drinking.
Light. You like Bud Lights and shit. Why do you drink light
because
beer?
they like to be able to drink. They like getting the malty taste
without the drunk.
But with being able to drink a whole shit ton more of them, and then potentially not be fat as fuck. I don't know.
See, in Australia,
I don't drink the lights that much.
In Australia, we like to drink 30 beers full strength.
Yeah.
And then we do some casual cocaine.
But here's the thing. The full strength, what is this? ABV wise, you're not like, you're still around Bud Light levels. You just have all the calories. That's it.
All right, mate.
Like a Bud Light is not like light on the ABV.
All right, mate. I know that I will respect that you...
fucking going now.
All right,
that was a line I shouldn't have crossed.
I respect that you were previously the youngest UFC heavyweight champion of the world, but you need to sit the fuck down right now and calm down.
Yeah, look, we're in America, though, here's the thing. Our forward-facing, what the Aussies are going to see, bullshit-wise, right, with the Bud Lights and the Michelob Ultras and all that, right?
TSWS Cup right there now, too.
However, what you're not aware of is ice beers, fucking malt liquor. We're America.
Malt liquor.
We're America. We're America.
I grew up on American culture. I know all about 45 Swiss malt liquor.
I'm telling you, whatever we do, I fucking promise you we do it bigger and more obnoxious and more ridiculous.
Actually, I will acknowledge that. Every time I've been in Europe, there might be 300 Aussies somewhere and there'll be one American and it's the only fucking person you can hear. Everywhere.
Then there must not be a Dutch person around.
Everywhere you go. No, the Dutch aren't too bad.
Are you fucking kidding me?
The Dutch aren't too bad.
Oh, man. It's the most obnoxious ever.
I went to a festival in Belgium. We were talking about Belgium. I went to a music festival there, Tomorrowland. And there's this hill in Tomorrowland. It's 200,000 people, and there's this one hill, and they call it Aussie Hill. And it's just Australians getting fucking wild.
Because I love it.
Drugs over in Europe are a lot cheaper than here.
I'll tell you this.
Cheaper.
Here's the difference. Americans might... I'm not here to shit on Americans, because I am one, but I know us. We can be fucking right cunts, real good, fun to be with. But... Aussies per capita are way more fucking fun.
And we like gay jokes.
You like every fucking joke.
Yeah.
Like, it's just so fun. Whereas the Americans might you might cross a line for them way sooner. And then they're like, what the fuck, bro? The Aussies are shit tons, heaps funny and fun to be around.
Yeah.
Aussies and Americans are very similar.
It's not just with Americans, though. That's with every country in the world. There's a certain, especially British people. I remember I was in Cyprus partying, and I was drinking with this African bloke who was he wasn't African, but he was dark skinned and he was from the UK, and he was with his missus, and we were dancing.
They could have been Caribbean.
We were all he had an English accent, and we were dancing, and I fucking gave him like a on the ass as a mate, like good on you, mate. And he was like, "Don't play that fucking gay faggot shit with me, bro." And I was like, mate, I was like, mate, I'm not a puff. Like, I'm not gay. Like, just calm down. I just smacked your ass. Like,
I didn't put my cock in it.
You're a fucking homophobe. What the hell's going on?
Oh shit!
But
but that's what I'm. That's what. Yeah, I get you.
Australians have a very different sense of humor, but I did meet. So one of my best friends, his name's Michael, and I met his beautiful girlfriend Jordan when I was in Japan last year, a while ago. First time I've been to Japan. When you first go to Japan, it's just a wanderlust of fucking everything. I love the food. I love the culture. Japan to me is the best country in the world.
It's pretty amazing.
I don't know how you spend more time there than me, but I have had this idea about Japan in my head my whole life. And when I went there, it just was better. And
sure?
When I was in Shinjuku one night, we were in Shinjuku and we were drinking, and I met this American couple, and his name was Michael, army brat from Washington, just dope, like college boy, and he was with his girlfriend or a partner, and she's a legend. And I met him and I was like, oh my God, you're an American with Australian humour. He used to play games online with a lot of Australians, so he's learned Australian humour. And we talk fucking all the time now, and it's just fun. Like, so it's not all Americans, but I feel like the rest of the world has a different.
I feel like we kind of lost a bit of our. We lost a bit of our original spirit.
It's the
because
sarcasm.
we can't be quite as sarcastic as Aussies, because Aussies are closer to the English, and the English have a pretty heavy dose of sarcasm themselves. But we are way more like Aussies than people think. You know, we love big fucking V8s. We love burnouts. We love drinking. We love fighting. We love a lot of tits. All that
ass.
shit. Yeah, we're all about it. And we love big, obnoxious, fucking wild shit. So
you're allowed to actually like your flag, though. That's the difference. In Australia, you're not actually allowed to like
you still
the
get
flag.
people stomping on it and burning it and shit. And I'm like, well, fuck all. You know, I mean, you can't really let that happen. I mean, you're like destroying a myth, right? And people are more moved by myth than like fact and than fact in figures and science. You know, a myth is what moves people through a place to place. You know, when you go on about like other indigenous ways of knowing or whatever, to some degree what that is like, no, there isn't really an actual gulf divide there naturally. It has only become of us being uber and overly mechanistic and rational that we forgot that, guess what, we, like whoever is indigenous anywhere, all moved by myth. We have myth that we've been describing all today, in terms of what is an Aussie, what is an American, and the mythos really sinks into us and has a far deeper impact on how we view things and how we think about things than breaking it down into fucking stats and figures.
Where's your family from?
My family is from the sticks. Like my mom came from an upper class.
Viking in you or anything?
Oh no, I do. Yeah. I'm heavily Scottish, Irish.
You look like Thor's hammer.
Yeah.
You look like a fucking Mjorn.
I've got a little bit of Norwegian, some Native American on my dad's side, but it's so
in Australia
small.
We call that a bitzer.
A bitzer?
A bit of everything.
Yeah. I'm pretty heavily
That's
northern.
also a derogatory term now, but you're a bitzer.
Nah, fucking say it. You know, say it loud.
You're a bitzer. There's only a few words that you can't say.
Oi. Bitza. Fuck you.
Yeah.
So anyways, I'm mostly just heavily Northern European, but I have like a small amount of Native American on my dad's side, Cherokee from the res in Oklahoma, but not enough to get me anything, and I'm not trying to like claim, you know what I mean?
We have I've had so South Australia in general has fucking fantastic fighters now. Like
tough guys. By the way, Australia's always had tough people. They've just gotten far more skilled.
And I think Israel Adesanya and Robert Whittaker paved the way for everyone.
Even a Kiwi did that, huh?
Mark Hunt might have.
He's technically a Kiwi, Mark Hunt?
Mark Hunt's a Kiwi.
Fucking A.
He's a
Samoan.
He's from Australia, but his heritage is he's an Islander.
But he's Samoan, yeah.
Yeah, Islander.
Okay.
I just bridged them all into fucking one thing, mate. All right.
Fair enough.
Brown skin, big build, Islander.
Big
Kiwi.
head. Yeah.
Big fucking head.
Yeah, sweet voice.
Sweet voice, very sweet
Fucking
man.
kills you.
Very sweet man.
That always used to crack me up. First time I flew to Hawaii, I'm like listening to music on there, and it's like, here's like Solomon Ma'oe, and he's like this jacked, like 280 pound
playing a ukulele
Hawaiian with like, oh my, like. Don't fight him, but fuck, man, you might want to kiss him. Like, this motherfucker seems sweet as shit until he's breaking your arm.
You fought Mark in
Pride.
I'm calling him Mark. Mr. Hunt.
Mr.
That's
Hunt.
like today when I met you, I was like Mr. Barnett.
I fought Mark
I don't know
in Pride.
what to fucking call you.
I fought Mark in Pride.
You fought Mark in
Yeah.
Pride. So Pride, for people who don't know, so there's a lot of, like, my demographic is 18 to 35. A lot of the 18-year-olds, honestly, they won't know what the fuck Pride is.
No, they barely know what Modern Warfare, Call of Duty is anymore.
They don't know what fucking COD 2 is or COD 3.
Yeah.
But can you... So you have done Pancrase.
Mm-hmm.
Then you went... Did you do one fight in the UFC?
No, I fought I fought in the UFC from like
22? 28,
from
28.
28, 30, 32, 34, 36.
And then, so you started in Pancrase and then went straight to Pride?
No, I was in New Japan Pro Wrestling, and I ended up working with New Japan to create an opportunity to fight for the King of Pancrase title because I beat their champion, who was a current champion for them in the UFC, in Sem Schild.
Okay.
And so I came to him and I went through New Japan. I said, look, man, I beat your champion, so I should get a shot at the belt. And part of that was because, one, the King of Pancrase belt, in my opinion, it's an open weight belt and open weight. And it has been held by... It's one of the most legendary artifacts of mixed martial arts. Let's just put it that way. It's been held by Frank Shamrock, Ken Shamrock, Masakatsu Funaki, Minoru Suzuki, Guy Mezger, Sem Schild, Yuki Kondo, myself. I'm the 10th King of Pancrase. It's an open weight belt, so it didn't matter what you weighed.
I don't want to, like, do you get, it's hard for me because I'm
back when I almost had abs.
Because I'm such a fan, like, sitting across from you, it's like, fuck, you fought Nogueira, you fought Crow Cop 3 times, you fought Mark Hunt, you beat Dan Severn, like, you fought DC, you fucking youngest heavy, all this shit, you beat Randy Couture for the fucking championship. To you, is that just a different person? Are you living the same life?
I'm not living the same life, but I am living a continuation of where that life
But was that like
came from.
What I should reiterate that. What I want to say is, does that feel like a lifetime ago? Like you were at the start of the sport. Like that's the logo you used to fight under.
Yes.
Like
And even though it says 35 and 8, I have fights that are not official, that are not on the record.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's the way it used to be. I mean, there are times where...
I'll put this up for people because I just want to... So I'm not going to obviously be able to rattle off all of your fights off the top of my head.
Yeah.
I don't have jiu-jitsu autism. But... Wait, I'll bring this back. Where am I? Oh my God. I want to just pull this down here. So... Oh, fucking hell. I don't have a young Jamie yet, sorry. I am that. So, you got... Does it spin you out looking at these?
No, I mean, I remember being a 19-year-old kid and going after these guys. It was, for me, it was just a way to move along the path to trying to find where I could end up as a professional MMA fighter, where I made this my... Where I could make this my...
You fucking beat Dean Lister. You gave him his first loss in 15 years. First submission loss.
So this was all just about following that pathway. That's all it was. And
Bobby Hoffman.
and here people don't understand. Like Bobby Hoffman knocked out Alistair Overeem. He was on a knockout streak. Later on, when I rematched him again, John Marsh was the neutral grounds champion. Everybody in that Super Brawl tournament was a champion from somewhere, and I beat them all. Then Severn, then
Severn to me is just such a... That solidifies how much of a pioneer you are. Mm-hmm. Because Dan Severn... Poster boy of the UFC.
Dan Severn hadn't lost for go click on Dan.
And he was just a fucking pub fighter.
Well, he was a super international. He's a wrestler. You know, he's a high level international style wrestler with tons. Wow, okay. No, I don't want any fucking Ray-Bans made in China.
Oh my God, Dan said.
So if
Let's
you
have a
go,
look at this.
yeah, this is There's 100 fights under Dan's name.
Oh my God.
Down. Try to find where in that loss happened. It's gonna be deep. Not Weezerek. That was later.
Pedro Rizzo.
Yeah, he did lose Pedro Rizzo.
You had a loss and a win.
A loss and a win, yeah. What a brilliant guy, too. He's so beautiful. I love that man. So, roll it down even a little bit. Okay, so go back up. Sorry. There's that loss, right?
Yes.
And scroll over and keep the screen there. Okay, in 2000. Now, scroll down. So, in 2000, February 8th, no, win, draw, win,
Jesus
draw,
Mark Coleman.
He hadn't lost since 1997.
To Mark Coleman as well. Bloody hell.
And then roll down some more. Win.
When was his first fight? 1994. Bro, that was the fucking year after I was born. That's crazy. But just so I don't even know if it's going to translate over to the younger audience, but just so the older audience can understand. So I feel like it really kicks off about here. So once you beat, fuck, I don't even know. Say that.
So
Tukasari.
this guy, Yuha Tukasari, was a Finnish guy, and he was the world's strongest man, 220 pounds and under.
Tukasari. Then you got John Marsh, Bobby Hoffman, Dan Seven.
Yeah, then we got
Lost
the
to Almeida.
Well, that was grappling. That was Abu Dhabi.
They throw in grappling as well.
Yeah, they throw in grappling.
And
I
this is
didn't
a
lose a
kickboxing
fight. I didn't lose. At this point, I was like 24-0 before I fought
But
Pedro Rizzo.
hindsight's 2020 because Pedro Rizzo, you would look at that and be like, oh, he lost. But Pedro Rizzo was the fucking
at the time.
man.
And the thing is, I won round 1 against him and was winning most of round 2 until he caught me.
Then Bobby Hoffman again. Then you got Randy Couture.
Jimmy Ambrose, yeah. Sam Schill, Yuki Kondo, Kazuo Takahashi.
So you beat Couture twice?
No, once.
Oh, this was your UFC stint.
Yep. And then after Randy, I went to Japan. Yeah. And Jimmy Ambrose went undefeated at that time, King of the Cage champion.
This is Crow Cop for
That's
people.
when I dislocated my shoulder. I injured it in my training camp and didn't realize that I had a torn labrum. And then it came out.
Does that trilogy eat you alive a bit?
Yeah, of course.
Does that trilogy, is that the one that you'd want back? Like if you could come out of retirement and you were in the both same health?
God. It's hard to say that because part of me can totally go down that path. But the other part of me goes, hey, yeah, Mirko, the guy who, when you're in Croatia for UFC press, hits you up, takes you out, looks after you.
But
it's like
as a fighter, which fight would you want back?
All of them. I
them?
hate all my losses.
Really?
Yeah.
Do they still irk you?
Of course. All of them. Every single one. But they irk me, and they also are part of my journey towards being the person I am. They're the relationships that I have.
Yeah, you beat the shit out of
Yep.
Fedor's brother.
Yep. And
Emelianenko. But you never got matched up with Fedor ever?
Nope. Unfortunately, there was that affliction card, but then it fell apart. So didn't happen.
I feel like I don't want to say overrated, but I feel like Fedor.
Don't.
I won't. I'm not going to say it. I feel like it's not as his resume. Like I wouldn't put him in my top 3 heavyweights.
I would.
You would as number 1.
I
was not saying overrated.
I would sit here and argue about it, but
you would.
The way Fyodor wouldn't necessarily always take people out, necessarily always the most spectacularly, but he had an incredible game plan and he kept people in his wheelhouse and was able to dictate where these fights were happening in such a way that it would be very difficult to be able to beat him. Plus,
original Khabib.
In a lot of ways, yes, but Khabib far better off his back.
I don't want people to also think that I'm shitting on Fedor. He is probably one of the greatest fighters the world's ever seen. I just personally wouldn't put him in my top 3 heavyweights of all time.
That's fine. Fair enough. But
actually, heavyweights maybe, fighters no. Heavyweights maybe yes.
That's fair enough.
Fighters no.
Sometimes it's hard to you got a GSP, right? Who went on a huge streak but was boring as hell.
Yeah, it's a hard style to watch.
But how do you beat him?
You can't.
But that, I don't know yet. That always baffles me, and I haven't talked to George in a long time. I would be curious as to hear what he would say, but like he was in there with Dan Hardy and he was owning him and wouldn't put a little bit extra to get the submission. And you just go, what the fuck, dude? Like, I don't want to sit here and watch you keep doing this when it's clear that you have this guy's number. You are controlling him and beating him in every position, and you're dictating where the fight happens, but you won't put it in that next gear and just get it done with.
Have you done training with George?
No, I just know him from, look, when I was around UFC, George St. Pierre's coming up.
I was going to
say. So
you
need to understand, like, a lot of these guys looked at me like, holy shit, like you're the fucking big boss. And look, we all go through our modes. Like, we all go through our evolutions and our transitions as we are as fighters. And
dude, you nail drinks like an Aussie. It's amazing.
But you know, yeah, I'm a fucking boss. But so is GSP. So is BJ Penn. So is these other guys that I was around, and they're all badasses in their own ways. And the respect that we were giving each other is warranted and deserved, and it goes both ways. So, would you say? I think George is a fucking fantastic kid. He's not a kid. Well, maybe he's younger than me, but in any case, he's a fantastic guy.
How would George
incredible
be now?
fighter.
Like 44, 43?
That's a good question. Yeah, probably somewhere around there.
Would you say that prime for prime? So when people talk GOAT discussions, they don't talk prime for prime. Prime for prime, Khabib or GSP? Who's walking out the cage?
I don't know.
That's such a 50-50, man.
I don't think there's a finish, though.
GSP's fucking striking, though, is so much more elite than Khabib's. I'd just give him the 52 to 48.
It won't make a difference, though.
You don't reckon?
It'll just be one guy shooting on the other, and then getting into scrambles, and whoever can be on top.
What is a match? What is a mythical match that you would love to make in MMA? It's gonna be something fucking retarded.
It'll be like Alexander Karelin versus
Mackenzie Dern and Tracy Cortez.
If I'm watching that, I don't want to see Alexander Karelin as the dude slapping hog on those two, and not Tracy Cortez per se. It's not the big fake eyelashes. Is not really my style. She's a good-looking gal, but
who's the honey of the UFC for you?
Nope.
You're not touching that with a 10-foot pole.
No, I have no interest. There's no need. You asked me this 10 years ago, and maybe I'd give you an answer, but now, no. I have a lovely, beautiful, amazing fiance, and that is 10 times more important and overwhelms and overrides any fucking UFC girl that could ever exist, ever any ring girl. I'll tell you this though. Oh my God! Now because I've been drinking and hanging out,
he's frazzled.
Now my fucking brain is broke. Fuck! God damn it! She's my fucking homie. Why is my brain breaking right now?
Are we talking presenters? Are we talking Laura Sanko's?
No. Laura Sanko's fantastic. She's a fucking cool chick.
She's actually a fantastic commentator as well.
God damn it! I hate this when this happens. This is the problem with getting older. One, your memory. Two, add that with getting punched in the fucking head.
I was saying before, you actually came off pretty clean. You don't have too much of the
I fucking ruined
CTE.
it now, didn't I? I ruined it. God, here's the other problem with me is that I have so much shit in my brain at all times. All these things I'm trying to balance and manage, and it gets to the point where all these things will converge at one time, and it shuts out every fucking thing else.
I was going to say, this is probably a different podcast experience for you. I hope you're enjoying it so far.
It's tons of fun.
It's actually very...
It's Aussie as shit.
I was hyping myself
fucking
up.
Appreciate it.
I was sweating before because I was like, oh my God, he's been on fucking Joe Rogan. He's been on Lex Friedman. He's been on like all my favorite podcasts. He's been on B Team. And I was like, he's gonna walk into my shed and be, what the fuck is this?
So Vanessa Hansen. Beautiful girl. But what I want to say is, like, way we became friends was I met her in Strikeforce, and started talking shit to her just out of nowhere, just like, hey, what's up? What's your fucking deal? And she likes anime. And her fucking...
You anime boy.
I like anime, sorry. And her brother got her to watch this anime. It's one of my favorites called Berserk. And she liked it.
Berserk apparently is one of the ones.
So
apparently that's the one.
She's dope as fuck because she likes Berserk.
Shout out to my girl Ash. She is my good friend Goobsy's girlfriend. She's actually reading every single Berserker book at the moment, the manga.
You know, it's funny because after Miura died... one of his assistants took over and is able to keep it going, which is fantastic.
Is that the author?
Yes. I hope that it all works out in the end and Miura, rest in peace, is happy with the way it turns out. But yeah, Vanessa Hansen, super rad chick. Her fiance, fucking cool dude, great people, and she loves anime. So look, if you're listening to this podcast and you think Vanessa Hansen's so hot, like you can't help yourself, instead of like sending her a dick pic or something obnoxious, tell her you think it's dope that she likes fucking Berserk. That's it.
So,
you know?
What was it like as a young...
Mackenzie Dern is dope too.
Mackenzie Dern.
But she got
dope,
fucking
man.
jacked as fuck. You see how fucking huge her arms were for her last fight?
I'm sorry. Even if my girlfriend's listening, I won't take any disrespect towards Mackenzie Dern or Tracy Cortez. I won't fucking accept her in this house.
I think Tracy Cortez is you know, she's a lovely gal.
That's why Brian Ortega's lost his next fight after he done.
I mean, she's not a bad looking gal by any means, and she's a good fighter.
We don't have Latinas. We don't have Latinas in Australia, bro.
Sure. I hate the fake eyelashes. Like that's like
I see a Latina and I'm like, I just wonder. We don't have them here.
No, they don't exist. Well, we have like Samoans.
We have Lebanese girls.
Okay,
sure. They're pretty much Latinas.
And they have fucking like bread and dips and stuff.
Yeah, they have hummus. yeah, it's pretty good.
I mean, look, if you give me some hummus.
They don't have the Gaza Strip anymore.
Is that like the Brazilian?
Trump's taking it.
The Gaza Strip. Is that like the landing strip? The Brazilian bikini wax?
They call it the Gaza Strip. I was going to say...
Lebanese food's great. I'll take a shakshuka.
What I was going to say... What was it like as a young man...
very, very horny.
Parading the streets of Japan with Rampage Jackson.
I did not parade the streets of Rampage Jackson back in the day.
Really?
No.
You seem to have some stories when you...
we have stories, but not from Japan like that. Now... I did bring him to Bloodsport Bushido in Japan, and
he was supposed to have a match, wasn't he?
He did. He did
have a match.
Rampage is now a professional wrestler. Maybe this is news to you. Part of the reason Rampage got into MMA and wrestling is because he's a huge pro wrestling fan.
Really?
Massive.
Interesting.
Massive. He is permanently wounded because the Undertaker didn't shake his hand as a kid as he was walking.
That's fucking pretty dog.
Rampage, he is my boy forever.
So I actually have a friend who, my brother as well.
You do?
So I have a couple. So my brother is 15 years older than me. So I grew up.
How much did he fucking beat the shit out of you?
He wasn't a basher.
Really?
No, that's why I'm a cunt.
He should have.
He should have. So my brother still to this day is a diehard wrestling fan.
Good.
Diehard. So I grew up around the Attitude Era, 1990s wrestling. We used to watch every Raw, every SmackDown, even when they weren't, they were still WWF at the time. And my friend Goobsy, the same, he still watches it. There's a Goobsy, he's a rapper based in Adelaide. There's a massive resurgence in wrestling now.
Sure. Look, the new TKO setup, like they're fucking building some big shit.
But when Triple H took over, allegedly, I don't know the intricacies of it, but apparently when Triple H took over, the storylines became better. And I tried, do you know what? I watched the Royal Rumble the other day. The only thing that shits me is I don't know them all. But that's just me holding on to old times. Like, if I knew them, it would be fantastic. But the nostalgia of, like, John Cena running out and then this and that, But I just remember back in the day, there was nothing better than the 1990s WWE storyline. The Undertaker dying like he died, and then he just comes back to life. And Paul, the Paul Bearer, what was his name?
Paul Bearer.
Paul Bearer. The Paul Bearer would fucking just have his ashes and fucking... Yeah. It was just phenomenal. And then you had the ECW, WCW beef where they would read each other's scripts on air, and then Degeneration X fucking took a tank to WC, and none of this is actually scripted. Like,
yeah, it was some wild shit.
It was some wild
Monday Night Wars
shit.
Were insane.
But it was fucking dope. And my brother would be on like dial-up internet and he'd be like, I'm looking up the script for next week's episode because WCW's leaking the scripts. And it was just such a wild time to be alive. It was so fun. And then they turned to G-Rap. Like, they tried to... I think what fucked them for a while was they tried to appeal more to children.
We don't care about the kids.
Yeah, fuck the kids. Not literally, but like, pause. But like, fuck them. But like with Bloodsport, is it more of the athleticism base, or do you have storylines in it?
We don't have any storylines because as an indie wrestling program, we aren't able to secure talent to do storylines in that way. Because at any moment, somebody is booked here, booked there, or picked up to a major. Like, one of the things about Bloodsport is from the very beginning, people would come and compete on it and then immediately get picked up by a major.
Yeah.
And I attribute that to the fact that Bloodsport is the rawest professional wrestling product you can get. It's not like 90s Attitude Era like you're describing. It's just that everything, in fact, it's the exact opposite in that everything is stripped away. It doesn't exist anymore. Your storylines, your fucking promos, your gimmicks, your ring costumes, and like all that shit is like pulled away.
Yeah.
And it's just you. And you got to go out there
and perform
and compete in a ring with no ropes where you can only win by knockout or submission. And you need to keep things very, very, very tight, very aggressive, very hard hitting in a way that no promotion is doing like this.
Do you have different like sub matches? Like, you know how there was no holds barred matches, tables, and you don't, none of that, none of the gimmicky. It's just pure professional wrestling.
We're not no holds barred in the fact of like anything goes. We are no holds barred, and no hold is barred. Like, that comes from Catch as Catch Can, by the way. That term, no holds barred, is a catch wrestling term, because there would be times where people would say, well, okay, strangle holds are barred, or this hold is barred. You could come to an event and say, okay, no holds are barred.
Why don't you bring it to Australia?
Give me money and I'll do it.
Dude, my channel, I'm starting to do more like traditional 20-minute videos as well as a podcast. I've had this video idea in my head for years of, is wrestling fake? And I go to a gym and do one training session.
If you come to my gym, you're gonna get fucking destroyed.
But have you ever seen the movie of? I hope you have. I really hope you have, because it's so niche. Ready to Rumble?
Of course, I've seen that.
Ready to Rumble. There's just this scene where he fucks this dude up and he goes, "Is that fake? Like, is your back slamming on the ground right now fake?" Like, all the shit.
If I decide to put you in a chin lock or something, and I decide to take it the way I want to, you ain't gonna be calling fake. You know what I mean? You won't be able to declare anything because you'll be too busy screaming.
You actually had a match with someone. So my friend told me to ask. I'm actually probably going to call him in a second.
Good.
Because he is a massive fan of Bloodsport. He's a massive fan, and you had a match, or you had someone on the promotion, and it's his favorite wrestler at the moment.
Okay.
And he wanted to actually sit in, but it didn't work out because I didn't realize it went so long today.
Good, I'm not into threesomes.
You're on the podcast with Josh Barnett right now.
Whoa, that's wild.
So we were just talking about Bloodsport. I said my mate Goobsy, he wanted to sit in, but we took longer than we thought. But you're a fan and you had some questions. I'm going to give you 2 questions to rattle off right now. Go.
Man, what was it like wrestling with Baron Corbin? Or Tom.
Fantastic. Tom Pestock is far more than people know as Baron Corbin. He has a jiu-jitsu purple belt. He's competed and won matches. And he's a fucking ex-NFL athlete. So he really knows how to fucking go after somebody if he needs to.
I've always thought he's been super underrated when he was like with WWE.
I agree.
He was always like, as people always say about him as well, he's always one of the safest workers. And you just see that. You watch highlights with him.
You know what? I mean, that's fun, but throw that kind of concept out of your mind. Like, in terms of like your forefront, safest, or no, fucking throw that away. Like, that's cool. Keep it in the back pocket. Think more about him as a fighter, as an athlete. Don't think about him as being safe.
I seen him talk about it the other day in an interview. That's what made me think.
No, I know, but because kayfabe's all completely and utterly broken down. But it's way better when you just, even if you know that that's the case, throw it away. Yeah, it's just better.
Sure. And what was the run in AEW like? Like, as in being like, you know, a big organization. You know, it's people put it. It's right neck and neck with, I guess,
whatever
in terms.
I just wanted to be there because it was a show that had this Antonio Inoki like commemorative vibe to it, and it was in my hometown of Seattle. But I've fucking wrestled in New Japan in front of 50,000 people. So AEW is like, yeah, sure, whatever. It was more about like, give me a ring, give me a good opponent, and Claudio is a fantastic fucking opponent that will bring out the best in anyone.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, Goobsy. Thank you so much for answering very promptly. You're the man. We'll talk soon. Boys. That's the man right there. That's one of the boys. You like that?
That smells good. Yeah, that smells good. It smells good.
You don't have any tattoos. I thought you.
What do you mean I don't have any tattoos?
You got tattoos, but you.
I do have tattoos. Yeah.
You got Norse
tattoos in here and here. Yeah. Basically.
You look like more of a piercing guy.
No. Fuck you. God damn it. Now we're gonna fucking fight. I'm not the piercing guy. I don't wear fucking. I don't wear.
You like heart. You like metal. Cunt.
Yeah, I do, but I'm not getting pierced up. I'm not fucking wearing
you look like you'd have
patent
your
leather bullshit. No.
You look like you'd have a hell odd one, like the tip of your penis stuff.
No. No.
Oh no.
No. Basically, I've had people ask me about my tattoos, and the best way for me to describe them is like they're basically all magical symbols.
They look like Norse. Like, is that
they're all Norse
mythology?
And they're all filled full of runes or magical symbols or things of that nature. Like they are.
Is North your favorite type of mythology?
If I'm not a theological person in that, I'm not like a...
Just for the lore.
Right, well...
Just for the story.
Yes, I'm basically a Norse pagan.
Norse, Greek mythology.
Norse.
Yeah, fair.
But I read
I'll play that.
shit tons of Greek mythology as a kid.
I
love Greek mythology.
My only like induction into Norse mythology is God of War, the video game, which is excellent.
Okay.
It's fucking excellent. Has a great depiction of Thor in it. It's fucking really good.
No, I'm more of a. I'm not really a. I'm not a theistic person, but if you had to pin me down to a religious belief system, it's Norse paganism.
Is it when you believe in those kind of things? You're not believing. Obviously, you don't believe in the stories, and I don't know if you do, but like, do you believe in the stories and stuff, or do you more believe in the teachings?
Both. But I don't believe...
So you believe in the stories?
Well, I believe in the stories, but I don't believe that, like, per se, that there is a Thor out there defending Midgard or, Odin. But the stories and the mythos...
well, it's much like religion.
Yeah, but I mean...
It's any religion.
All religions are basically varying degrees of true. Because they're only working off of human... belief, action. Go pick up the Quran. Go pick up the Bible. Go pick up any of these. Like go pick up the Tao. I mean, Taoists are kind of a religion, but pick up any religious text, and you will find shit tons of truth about how people operate, how they think, how they feel. Like these things,
guidelines.
They're universal. Right. And then there will be different particularities and particulars and parochial elements specific to the regions in which those things were made.
Yeah, but I really fucking struggle with religion.
Well, but here's the thing. Don't take them literally.
Oh, but people do. It's the people that do that fucking annoy me.
Ignore them. Ignore them.
You can't.
You can.
You can't. You're a
You
big,
can.
You're
You
a
just don't
big,
get
strong man. I am 5'4" on a good day, Josh. I'm 5'4". I live in anger my whole life.
You think after the music that I played for
you're
you,
a heavyweight champion.
yeah,
of the
but
UFC.
what about the music that I played for you and the way that my life
You're an
is
angry
filled full of?
motherfucker.
I am filled full of leagues, heaps of hate.
I put Josh on. I was like, I put on Parkway Drive before, and I was like, no, it's Parkway Drive. I was trying to be cool. He's like, I know, fuck Parkway Drive. And then he puts on this shit that sounds like you'd fucking draw a fucking anarchy A and
A pentagram
in blood and sacrifice a small fucking gerbil.
Yeah,
We don't have gerbils in Australia.
you have wombats.
We were talking about this shit before, so fucking this is one thing I have against Americans
Yeah,
actually.
lay it out. Make me your effigy for all the things you want to hate about America.
Would you like me to get you another beer?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, wait up. I'll get you actually a different one. Okay, you got Cooper's.
All right. You say Cooper's? Did we drink Cooper's earlier, right?
No, but this is Cooper's. This is Cooper's Pale.
Well, didn't I have? Well, wasn't
you had a Cooper's Dark Ale?
it was good. It was good. It was a stout.
That's
but those were all Cooper's ale, Cooper's beers we were drinking though,
So,
right?
like, I don't know
And
if-
that's from here.
in America. I don't know if every state has a different beer. Like in Australia,
I've noticed, which is cool.
In Australia, every state has its own, like, certain beer that they drink. In Adelaide, it's Cooper's or West End. But we don't brew West End.
Do you have
here anymore.
Westies?
I don't have Westies.
I think that's a Kiwi thing.
No, West End's at South Australian.
No, Westies.
Westies.
So I guess it's like the same thing as Bogans, but for New Zealanders.
Oh, we call them fucking crackheads down here.
All right.
Cheers, mate.
All right, cheers.
So, in America, we were talking, actually, as soon as you landed, funny story about how we landed. So, I'm fucking in the airport. I'm fucking literally sweating. My hands are sweating. I feel like I'm getting sick.
Cock is rock hard.
My cock is fucking rock solid. I'm messaging the group chat. I'm like, I'm about to see fucking Josh Barnett's
might
dick.
jizz before I see
I'm
him.
going to see Josh Barnett's dick. It's about time. And I'm in the airport. I'm like downstairs. And his agent messages me. He's like, oh, he's coming now, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, okay, so am I. And I walk up to Josh and just like go, hey, mate. And he obviously does have no clue who the fuck I am. I just automatically thought, oh, and he's like giving me like and I'm like, oh, I'm supposed to pick you up. And then we were talking and shit. And then I was like, do you know what's weird about America? They think that Australia is dangerous. Like America, actually, that's fucking. I'll put that there. America thinks Australia is dangerous because we have spiders, we have fucking spiders, we have snakes, we have sharks, whereas Americans have fucking bears, mountain lions, cougars, big booty Latinas.
Yeah.
Fucking.
By the way, big booty Latinas are the most dangerous animal you just named.
But, like, he's got all of these things that can fucking... I would rather 10 snakes bite the tip of my cock than even see a bear. Have you
Look.
ever seen a fucking bear?
Yes.
In the wild?
Yeah.
What
black
the
bear.
fuck? And you're scared of a snake?
Well, look.
Do you understand where I'm coming from? I had a
Here's
cunt
the
from
difference.
British Columbia tell me that he thought Australia was dangerous. Cunt, you have wolves in your front yard. Wolves.
A black bear in Washington State, if you run into it, more than likely it's going to run away from you. They don't really want to fuck with you or whatever. These snakes, do you have boom slangs?
Boom slangs.
No, probably not.
What's a
But
boom slang?
it's
We got
just-
boomerangs. What?
Sure you do. You have a variety of you have very highly venomous snakes here that like live in trees and on the ground, and but no rattles and all that kind of stuff.
No,
So-
we don't have the warning.
Yeah, so it's just the silence, right? Like all of a sudden, hey, things great. Oh, I'm bit. I'm dead. That's the problem. Or like,
Would you rather die by a snake or a bear? A snake. I can answer it for you now.
Look, some of those venoms are fucking gnarly.
Do you know why?
Some
Do you know
snake
why?
venoms will do
Because
to you.
the toxic trait in you thinks you'd be able to kind of fend off a bear.
No.
Not even a little bit.
No, a bear would kill me if
Do
it
you-
wants to.
Do you reckon you'd fuck up any form of... Do you reckon, like my dog, if he was a bit younger, do you reckon he'd fuck you up?
Well, I can fuck your dog up now.
If he was a bit younger, I was saying.
I can destroy your dog if I have to.
So what about like a little bigger... What do we go, wolf?
One wolf? Yes.
One. You reckon you'd fucking kill a wolf?
Yeah.
I think you would too.
No, but here's why. This isn't about like how much of a badass I am.
What's your plan of attack?
Obviously, I'm going to try and choke it, but
You're going to try and choke it?
yeah, if you have like,
I'll give you a bat as well.
If you have dogs, well, if I have a bat, it's fucking game over. But if the thing with dogs is sometimes like if you get dogs fighting, like I had an ex, she had a half Rhodesian, half pit bull, and this thing was like 80 pounds. And this other friend of ours, this other girl had a bully of some sort that was more pit, maybe even pure. I don't know, big fat head on it. And they're just kind of wandering around, nothing. And then all of a sudden, rah, they go after each other. And this dog, my ex's dog, jumps in on it. I'm smacking it. I smack it in the ass a few times. It won't fucking listen. So I reach in, boom, snag it by the neck because I'm familiar with this. Boom, throw a fucking sleeper hold on it.
They don't have defense.
Pick it up.
They don't know to get like...
And I got him. Boom.
Yeah.
I'm like, don't you fucking calm the fuck down.
You talk to it.
And chilled it out and pulled it away. A dog in that scenario, if you get that neck, they're like, oh, okay.
They don't know to get their hands in separation.
But when it comes to something like...
what do you think's the cap on an animal for you?
Well...
Will a mountain lion... I've never seen one. A mountain lion's...
I could fucking fight my way out of a mountain lion too. But here's the thing. It's not because, again, this is what I'm going at. It's not that I'm a badass.
You're trained.
Sure. All these things are going to help. But like, there's a story of a guy getting attacked by a mountain lion in Washington on his fucking bicycle, and he fights it off, and the mountain lion runs away. Why? Because animals are still hardwired with that evolutionary biological instinct. And that is, if I decide to engage with something, but if it turns into a fight, I'm out. Because I can't risk getting maimed, hurt, injured in certain ways that will take me out of my ability to then defend myself, hunt, do this, do that. So animals aren't looking to get into the big, long, protracted or any like real serious fights. They want to go in there, get what they want to get, and then get the fuck out. So if it's a mountain lion, it wants to jump in, get you on the throat or get you on the neck and be done with you and have you done. If it has to fucking fight you, it's out. It's done. It's leaving. It doesn't want to have to deal with it. Now, of course, you're going to get fucking cut up and bit and bullshit, but you'll live. Because this mountain lion is like, it ain't worth it. Because for them, every encounter is life or death. Now, a bear, again, is going to weigh its odds like, do I need this or do I know?
That's the worst one for me.
Now,
besides a crocodile.
If there are cubs... Oh, fuck, dude.
You're dead.
Now you're fucked.
If it's the woman.
You're in trouble.
Yeah.
So it's like real life. Yeah.
Same with
the fucking woman's
same
going
with
to kill you.
big booty Latinas, dude.
Oh, now, I had a fucking... I don't know if she's technically qualifies for a big booty Latina because Alyssa fought at 105 pounds. But in any case, this fucking bitch... and I hope she hears it and hears me call her a bitch. But yeah, she was a fucking spicy fucking bitch.
Meatball,
Yeah,
dude.
like
Spicy
she would tell me these fucking stories she'd get into, and I'm like, only fucking you, only you.
I've always wanted to meet a Latina
This is
woman.
also why I'm not going to fucking diss Tracy Cortez, because I don't need her kicking my door down and trying to fucking stab me like, what's up, fool? What's up?
I'd love to sit down and do a podcast with a Latina woman.
I actually, look, I hope Tracy Cortez can sit down with you and have a conversation.
So do
and I hope she's funny and has like good wit and all this, but
I'll take her to a way better restaurant than I took you to. I'll take her somewhere real nice. Sorry, Zara.
I can't speak for that, but I can say, yeah, the Latinas, they're fucking a lot of problems.
Dude, would you rather die by bear or crocodile?
I'd rather die by Latina, but I neither. I don't.
Crocodile to me
Crocs
is
are
the worst.
fucking fucked.
That's the worst death in the world. Have you seen Australians? You're in Darwin.
Whack,
You're in Darwin.
Boom, roll.
You're going to be in Darwin.
Fuck that.
You're going to be in Darwin.
Yeah,
you
I
have
am.
to. You have to go on a croc tour.
The guys out there,
Biggest croc in
apparently,
the world.
They have some plan to take me out and do some like wild ash, outbacky fucking.
You're going to go on a croc tour.
Look, I don't
100%. That's what it's going to be.
bring it to me. Give me a big fuck.
Dude,
Give
have
me
you
a big,
seen one?
Give me a big fuck all knife. Let's have some guns and some VB and let's go out there. Look,
Hunting.
yeah, whatever. I don't care.
Did Steve Irwin translate to the American audience? Do you
for
know who he is?
For sure. I almost posted a picture of a stingray.
Don't.
About
That's too soon. It's still too soon.
like, hey, this fucker, he showed up and he was fucking cleaning house at this fucking seminar. This guy's the hardest guy I've ever met.
Dude, fucking.
And put a stingray picture up.
There's heaps of things in America that can get. Like, do you know what the beauty thing of Australia is? Like, we don't.
Mindy, sorry, just kidding. I know you're an Aussie too, so I know you can take the piss. It's all good.
We might not have all of your freedoms and stuff, but we can send our children to a school.
You guys have a
Without-
lot of freedoms if you're in the right place.
We have,
because
we
not,
have,
not
we
freedoms
have
by
way
law.
more freedom than
not,
people think.
Not freedom by law, but freedom by fuck. I ain't going out there to enforce
but
it.
People don't respect the law here. So,
That's what I'm talking about.
But that's the thing. People.
That's
think
why you have hooning.
Australia is like you. I listen to it on Joe Rogan a lot, and it fucking annoys me. That's one thing about the podcast, Joe's podcast, and I love Joe. Obviously, like, I got his fucking face tattooed on my arm.
Look, Joe is a really lovely individual. Let me tell you.
No, you don't have to explain it to me. He sculpted fucking a lot of my personality as a man when I was in very dark times in my life. Just watching his podcast for fucking endless hours. One thing, he has such a misconception of Australia that we are such a not communist, but he thinks that we're so. He's never been. I don't think he's experienced it how you have, because
maybe not.
in Australia, we don't respect the law, so it doesn't matter what laws they have.
Aussies are basically anarchists to a degree.
We are.
Some sense. But Aussies and Americans are very frontier spirit, very adventurous, very daring do. You got digger hats with your fucking flaps on the side and all that kind of shit.
COVID in Adelaide didn't exist. I didn't even know it didn't exist here.
How could you get COVID with all the Bundy you drink?
Exactly. We had no lockdowns. I didn't have a fucking lockdown. I didn't get Melbourne though. Melbourne was the most quarantined.
It's a metro. That's why.
Metrosexual. That's what it is over there. It's fucking
Had guy liner.
They were the most locked down state in the world.
Was that the place that had the camps and the tents and the bullshit?
It was wild. Like, they were locked down for. Do you know how many fucking...
By the way, you're welcome. Do you like COVID? We made that.
Yeah, you made it.
You happy for that?
It was Elon.
Thank you. No, Elon didn't make COVID.
It was Elon. He saluted. He did this. He fucked everything.
No, he was trying to do this.
He was trying to do a dab. He was trying to dab. Dude, what a miss.
He's like, oh shit, wrong hang.
That's just
I forgot the other one.
He's just got the. He's got the
Elon,
tism.
Look. Here, okay. Fine. Danger zone.
Danger zone.
Yeah, okay.
You got to bring the other. As soon as you get here, you got to bring the other one up.
You can't be like, where's Kyle? Where's Kyle? Hi, Kyle.
Do you feel like
Fucking.
Have you met Elon ever?
No.
You
I
never
haven't.
met him. You never has Joe never been like, move to Austin, Texas, meet Elon Musk?
I mean, not in so many words.
Have you been close to moving?
No. There's too many things in LA that that keep me there. Especially because of my fight team. You know, guys like Victor Henry. I got
shout out to Victor Henry as well. I didn't know that was your fighter.
Yeah, and Johnny Robles. He's got a fight coming up March 1st, and all the guys I work with there. And I'm very embedded into things in LA. So moving out of LA would be very difficult at the moment. But
is it the same as it was?
No, but I mean, nowhere is ever the same as it was given enough time. But LA has degraded in a lot of ways since I started living in it, which is unfortunate because even where I entered into what I know as LA is still a far cry from some of the ways it used to be. You talked to me about how much you loved hair metal, right? And old school stuff. That era of LA must have been absolutely fucking incredible.
Cocaine.
I mean, there's still plenty of cocaine.
Dude.
There's still plenty of cocaine in LA, but the culture of the metal scene and what was happening in movies and it just must have been. Look, I grew up in the 80s and I fucking love it. And I tell people at times that vibe with some of the 80s aesthetic stuff, and I go, you have no idea how fucking rad it was. And I was a kid, and I was just thinking, what would it be like if I was old enough to really engage with this shit properly? Being who I am now, if I could take a few years off so that my hairline was a bit more forward, I was a bit leaner again.
You'd be in movies.
Being in LA would be fucking unreal.
Now's the best time to be in LA. I'm going to sell my house and move to the Palisades. It's fucking... Bro, I'm going to go there. Now is the best
what a
time.
cunt.
Now
I love it.
No,
Yeah.
but now is the best time. If you got
The
money...
cheapest land ever.
If you got money... If you got money... I was actually... So my favorite... I'm very divisive.
I like the VB better than the Coopers.
You're joking.
No.
You're joking. I'll give you a Pirate Life next. You might. I think you'll like the Pirate Life next because you seem like you got some. You seem like you got some.
You have a beer that's a blonde, right? That's pretty famous.
Pure blonde.
It's all right.
It's carb, low carb, big gay.
Is it? I didn't know that.
It's low carb. It's big gay.
When I was in Brisbane.
If you drink, if you're in Brisbane and you're not drinking Great Northern, you're a faggot.
I had no idea.
Sorry for saying faggot, but you're allowed to say it again.
Well, you were talking about meatballs.
Yes.
From the English.
So, what I was saying, I was talking about the Palisades. My favorite comedian of all time is Tim Dillon.
Oh, fuck yeah. I want to fucking... God damn it, Joe. I want to hang out with Tim Dillon. I want to fucking kick it with that dude. He is so fucking fun.
Tim Dillon might be... I don't know. He's not for everyone.
No, that's true.
For my humor, like my personal humor, Tim Dillon is the funniest man to ever walk the earth. I remember when he came to Australia, I sat front row center. Only show I've ever... Like, I couldn't breathe. Because he's so funny. And do you know what makes him funny? He's so educated.
He is very smart.
He's very educated. But I have such a juxtaposition. I have such a war in my head because then Shane Gillis came on to the scene.
He's pretty funny too.
Shane Gillis's last comedy special, Beautiful Dogs, is maybe the funniest thing anyone's ever said.
Okay. What about Tony Hinchcliffe?
I just think he's got mad fucking annoying energy.
Really?
He pisses me off sometimes.
That guy is so... Okay, when you talk about people with a fast bit of wit...
No, very funny.
If you fuck with Tony Hinchcliffe, you are asking to get cut to death with a fucking katana.
Do you know what I fucking like about Tony? He's got very Australian humour.
I can see that.
It's very dark. It's very funny. But do you know what? It's not Tony that pisses me off. It's when he's on these shows, or on Kill Tony especially, or obviously it's on Kill Tony, when he's hammering these people that are supposed to be comedians and they're not rebuttaling. It's like, as soon as, like, but as an Australian, I have a very... I have a very quick wit, so no one ever checks him. Like, when he says something, I'm like, just say that, just say that, just say that. Like, I have a very...
I can tell you, I have been with Tony.
I've
been with Tony in the comedy store where he'll just walk into some dude's fucking late night set
and destroy.
And don't fucking fuck with that guy. He will destroy you. I remember, I like to run my mouth. I've been on Kill Tony, shot the shit.
You've been on Kill Tony?
Yeah.
Really?
Go watch my Kill Tony.
In Austin?
Yes.
In the Austin's one?
Yes. And,
really?
guys came on stage. I'm fucking slinging shit out there at him. We're back and forthing, and strangely, like there's guys like Hans Kim and
See, Hans
is a fucking he's a fan of mine. And
Hans, and when I say this, I'm not saying this in a fucking like. Not everyone's comedy is the same.
Of course,
Hans for me, I would never like die laughing at his
fine,
sets.
totally fine.
But I can see why he's a fantastic comedian.
Look, nobody.
It's the same as the one. What's the one? He's very erratic and he's very popular right now. I don't like that erratic style of comedy where it's very
Erratic.
random.
Are you talking about?
He's so popular right now.
You talking about the redheaded guy?
Yes. Yes. We're talking about the same person.
The Vanilla Gorilla.
Vanilla Gorilla.
Yeah, God, I see this again. My brain is
so
broken. That guy. Really beautiful, amazing soul
I'm sure,
of a person.
just not my type of comedy.
Look, you don't have to love every comedian
To respect them.
No, not at all. And I can tell you, if you're in a comedian's green room, that's like a no holds barred type environment where shit will fly everywhere, and everyone's like kind of. They're being funny, they're creating rapport, but at the same time, they're testing things out, they're playing with shit. It's just a lot of fun. It's just guys like letting shit loose, gals too. Like you never know what you're gonna run into.
Mark Norman, Shane Gillis, Ari Shafir, Theo Von, Tim Dillon. They're my kind of.
They are fantastic.
But
Do you like Luis Gomez?
Luis
He's fantastic.
Gomez.
Yeah.
I love very cute humor. I like casual racism. I like.
Sure.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, no, I get you.
Their humor's very
that, like super nervous chick. She's really funny too. Fuck, I can't.
Very pretty girl as well.
God,
I know who you're talking about.
And look, I'm not trying to look, guys and gals. Look, I love all of you.
Are you a comedy and film fan?
I love comedy. Well, actually, comedy and wrestling is really connected. So we all come from the carnivals.
Comedy. Who would you say? Actually, first, who is in the WWE sphere? Don't be too niche about it. In the WWE sphere, I'm talking like Attitude Era to mid 2000s. Who would be your ideal wrestler?
My ideal wrestler?
Performance-wise. Mine personally, I'll tell you my top three. Shawn Michaels, Stone Cold Steve Austin, Eddie Guerrero.
It's Stone Cold.
Number one.
It is
we bounce around a lot on this podcast as well.
Look, I'm not going to add Vader into Attitude Era, but Vader is one of my absolute favorite wrestlers of all time.
I'm not talking skills-wise, I'm talking persona.
Well, okay, it's Stone Cold. It is The Undertaker. It is...
It's funny that you don't put The Rock. No one puts The Rock that actually watches wrestling.
I think The Rock is like a WMD.
He's so media trained. Watching his episode with Joe Rogan just really killed me, man.
I think The Rock is a WMD. You remember that Weapons of Mass Destruction? The Rock is a WMD.
Both.
No, that's not what I mean. Okay, so I'll relate this story to you. By the way, I think William Montgomery, that's the guy you're thinking
Montgomery.
of. I love William Montgomery. He's a beautiful man. He is a lovely guy. He beat cancer. He is fantastic. I love his humor, but humor is...
It's so subjective.
Yes, it is, and so it's totally fine. But him as a person, let me tell you, amazing. Amazing guy. And Tony Hinchcliffe, great guy.
Tony's honestly in my top.
And Ari Shafir he's so brutal.
Ari's fucking...
He's brutal to his friends. But Ari Shafir is a fucking good cat.
First time I did DMT was because of Ari, because I seen him do salvia on a podcast, and I was like, I need to do it.
Brutal. So, what were we talking about? Fuck, I'm losing.
We were talking about top three personalities.
The Rock is a WMD. And then we're talking about
The Rock is a WMD.
WMD, because I won't tell you how, but I met Lionel Richie at his Thanksgiving family party.
You've met Lionel Richie?
Yes.
Interesting.
I have a very, very, very weird life.
Yeah, you do. You met Lionel Richie.
No, that didn't. You have.
Did you go to a Diddy party as well?
No.
You never been there?
I'd have a little lube to do that.
You don't have enough lube.
No. So I met Lionel Richie, and Lionel Richie within 30 seconds made you feel like you've known him forever. He was your best bud.
You wouldn't expect that, too.
This guy has weaponized charisma. Now, Lionel Richie's never going to hear this.
He might. Oh, is he dead?
Hello?
Hello? Is it me you're looking for?
Definitely not.
No, he's not
So,
going to hear this. Nicole might.
Probably not.
She might relay it to him.
Probably not. So, Lionel Richie, and I love Lionel Richie's music. I love the Commodores. I love all that stuff. And he is a super talent. But he has a type of charisma that feels like, holy fuck, he could create World War III with this. The Rock is the way I know what I know about him through people that know him, that are around him. And I'm not going to say why and how and whatever. I'm not going to, because there are certain things he could like, I ain't trying to cause no dramas.
He seems like a fake person.
Maybe he is. I don't know. I wouldn't say as such. I've never met him. But he remembers everyone's names. He remembers, like, he's so...
Media trained.
It's like the idea, the perfection concept is like he doesn't slip, which seems so unreal.
It's
like,
media trained.
Where I'm sitting here, it's like I've known Vanessa Hansen for so many fucking years, and it's really not about whether or not, like, I don't forget her. I don't like. I could. I'm not going to, but I'm going. I could tell all kinds of personal anecdotes of like me and her. You just have a rapport. Her husband.
You just have a
and
rapport. You just have a.
But my. There's just so much shit going on that sometimes I can't even pull stuff out of my long-term, like, people. It's not because of CTE either, fuckheads. It's because just there's so much shit going down and I'm drinking. But also, yeah, when you're in a position like mine, you just start meeting so many more people, right?
Yeah.
And it's stuff that isn't related to another thing will bleed into another, right? And you were here earlier. You saw I taught for 3 hours of trying to get people from one point to another and moving them through all these different skill sets and such. So give me a little slack. But The Rock does not, the perfection of how he handles everything comes off as unnatural in that sense, which makes you feel like fake, media trained and all this kind of stuff. And maybe those are true judgments. I don't know that, and I wouldn't declare as such. But he has that kind of. He feels like, from what I know about him, it's that kind of charisma. It's like a weapon of mass destruction. Like he could create World War III.
Yeah,
because he could convince and get everyone worked up enough to do it, because he has that kind of ability to touch people in such a way that's like, that's fucking scary.
Do you know what the thing is, though? When I was watching it, obviously I grew up around The Rock, and I fucking love The Rock as a character. Phenomenal. One of the best wrestlers of all time. He is a top 10. He has to be a top 10 personality wrestler.
Not for me, but
top 10 personality wrestler of all time. He has
personality wrestler.
Yeah,
sure. Okay. I'll give you that.
As a personality, he has to be. But when I was watching him on Joe and shit, and when I was just watching interviews of him, I'm like, you're not giving any of your own thoughts. Like, you're not. I can see in your fucking eyes that you're the only better person besides Donald Trump at avoiding questions on Joe Rogan has been The Rock, because he's so well media trained that he doesn't want to offend anyone, and he knows how to answer a question so ubiquitously, whatever the fucking word, ubiquitously,
yeah,
that he knows that he's not going to offend anyone. And to me, I like when someone's abrasive. That's the whole reason I started the podcast. I like when someone's fucking...
You're basically human sandpaper.
I just like when someone's fucking... I like hearing people have different opinions, because you might take on that opinion.
Sure.
But The Rock has no fucking opinions about anything.
I'll give him this. Like, they tried to, like...
What, he donated fucking $10 to fucking Hawaii when they burned down. Good on ya.
Well, that's a whole different story. Yeah,
Good on you, mate.
That's like
you and Oprah combined fucking $10 billion wealth.
Yeah. Go ahead and look into the whole Oprah, The Rock, the charity.
That's your country.
That's a fucking crazy one.
That's your fucking country.
You know, I'm not taking a stance on them.
No, you don't have to. But you said enough about it, and I agree with it.
But really, it just comes down to I feel like he's the kind of guy, if you met him in person, he could change all your opinions.
Yeah, because he's so fucking well trained, and he's hot, and he's fucking 6'5". He's built like a fucking god.
He is fucking incredible with what he's been able to do with his fucking physical shape, and
he doesn't take steroids. Did you know that? Did you know he doesn't take steroids, Josh Barnett?
Sure.
Did you know? No. Did you know?
Sure he doesn't.
Yeah, he just eats pancakes on his cheat day. Did you know that? I don't know. Anyway, on this segue, I'm going to take a piss. I'm going to pause it. We're going to... I imagine you need to take a piss as well.
It's locked up.
You're locked up?
Yeah, I'm good.
I'm going to take a piss.
And then it got to the point where he said, I won't drink with you anymore.
Oh, Josh. Oh, Mr. Barnett.
I'm telling you, it's a mistake.
Oh, Mr. Barnett.
Don't do it.
I'm going to tell you right now, Josh, if I can call you Josh.
You can.
I can call you Josh. Are we on a Josh level right now? My name's Sav.
Josho.
Oh, my God. So... I just
you have a cigar cutter and no cigars.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that.
Oh, and this came apart because you...
You can have a cigarette, though.
Oh, thanks.
We call it a dart.
No, I know what they are.
You know, a dart?
Yeah. This thing needs the screws put back in it.
Look,
actually.
mate, I don't smoke cigars on this podcast.
Why is that?
I inhale them.
Oh, fuck. Bad news.
Yeah, so me and Josho, or Barno... Me and Barno. We're talking while we're taking a piss. He's pissing on my passion fruit tree. And I said, the only thing I want out of this podcast is I want to get you Australian drunk tonight. And he said, I'll drink you under the table, mate. I'm going to tell you right now, and I truly believe this in my whole heart, Mr. Barnett. I don't think you'd be able to go drink for drink with me.
You are sadly mistaken. And my ethnic background says you are fucking up the wrong tree. Look, there's not enough rakia or sambuca that is going to save you tonight.
Just at a bit. So Australian drinking culture is very funny because we have a very massive binge drinking culture here. Mm-hmm. Whereas we don't stop when we're drunk. We stop when it's over.
Yeah, but see, you get to a certain point of inebriation and you don't really track how things are going.
No, I go on autopilot. It's like when a fighter gets rocked and you're just fighting on pure instinct, brother. So this is why I laugh whenever I see Bert Kreischer talk about how much he drinks and stuff. It's like you would never be able to.
By the way, this has been on Bert Kreischer's podcast.
Shout out to Bert. Bert,
I've never met Bert, but I hope to.
I'm telling Bert right now, if Bert attempted to even try and drink with me, he would die.
Maybe that's the case, but tonight you're facing off with me, and it's a bad idea.
By the way, I'm not exaggerating. Warbringer, if we can bring it to Australia, is this my bottle? Can I keep it?
We'll see. We'll see how far we get down with it.
I'll swap you with the shivers. This bottle here, because if I have it, I'm the only one in Australia that has it.
I'm trying to spread the wealth. You know what I mean?
No, but the thing is, I'm going to give this to my mate who owns a couple bars. Mm-hmm. This is the nicest brown liquor I've ever tried.
I love it.
Like
Pour some more of it.
I'm obviously not a Scotch or whiskey or bourbon aficionado, but it has a certain sweetness that can apply to anyone. Like sure.
It makes it.
It's not too astringent. It's not too astringent. It's not too fucking bitter. It's nothing.
If you use like our standard blend to make
in Australia,
Manhattan or an old fashioned, it's fantastic. Yeah,
bro. This with an old fashioned, it's built for it.
Yeah.
Or you pour a little bit of Coke in it,
I mean, I guess you could.
As
I don't know how
Australian-
well cocaine
Australian-
works in liquor.
No, Coca-Cola cunt.
Oh, fucking A.
In Australia, we pour
Fucking A.
we pour
Fucking A.
we pour Coca-Cola in
Yeah.
every brown liquor.
Basically, every time I take a drink of this, I'm just like, the V8 Interceptor. Look at the blower. The blower. You ever seen Wake and Fright?
No, I'm fucking born in '93, bro.
You
You were fine. You were doing your
fucking
first. You were
pathetic.
doing.
You're
your
pathetic.
You're old enough to be my second dad.
Pathetic. The Bunda Yaba. The Yaba. You don't know anything about
The
Wake
Baba
and Fright.
Yaga?
It's a made up place for this movie called Wake and. Watch Wake and Fright.
What year? Roughly decade. What decade?
70s.
I don't enjoy movies from the
Watch
70s.
Wake and Fright.
Are you a film boy?
I am
You're a film boy?
big time, and I love Ozploitation, which is its own category.
Exploitation.
Within
Australiana
the
movies.
70s to 80s, there was a whole ton of Australian exploitation
Is
films.
that a Mad Max?
Mad Max is considered part of Ozploitation. Turkey Shoot, aka Escape 2000. You have
Lethal Weapon in there because Mel Gibson's in there.
not exactly,
We'll put that in there though.
Why not?
Great fucking movie.
Unless you're Jewish.
Great movie. All four of it.
What a massive meltdown that was.
In Australia,
Fuck.
see that joke in Australia doesn't land because we don't have Jews here. It's not a thing.
But you have people making fools of themselves on fucking camera,
we
right?
We just got to worry about celebrating Australia.
Oh, fuck. Yeah.
But it's
No,
funny.
no, so you have movies like Stone. You have movies which is like a biker film. You have Dead End Drive-In. You've got all the Brian Trenchard Smith stuff. Yeah, I love Body Melt. All these wild ass horror and action films and wild ass shit, which is full of like gore and effects and yeah.
I have we mentioned Mad Max. So
I love Mad Max. That's why I own a leather jacket.
When I went to Japan, I went to the whole reason I travel to a country usually is for food. Because I'm a very food orientated person.
Really?
Yes.
You know, there's more Michelin star
In Japan than anywhere in the world.
Yeah, it's insane.
I'm a chef by trade.
Really? Mm-hmm. Okay. Before we get further into your story, what particular types of dishes or what type of like chef how like what was
I started in Italian, and then I moved to modern Australian, and then I basically did modern Australian for my whole career.
Give me your 3 dishes that you would cook if someone asked you to make a menu.
What's it? How much are you paying? Do you want? Give me the wait.
No,
do you want a fine
dishes,
dining menu?
Your dishes. Your dishes. Your whatever. It doesn't matter the dollar value of what those dishes. By the way, before we go forward,
Entree, main, dessert.
we can go build your own. I'll just put it this way: remove 3, build your menu. However, I'm going to give you a caveat. The person you're talking to. Now, look, I am not a chef, and I'm not a high-end.
You're a foodie though. You like food.
I can cook a little bit, but I'm not nothing special.
Yeah, you look like you eat.
But
Sorry.
don't I?
Sorry. Sorry,
Heavyweight?
Mr.
No,
Barnett.
that's fucking real. It can't be avoided. Whether it's with a 6-pack or a fucking keg, either way, you can tell I'm eating.
All right,
But I'm telling you, before you go into this, I have, as friends and people, I've been in a fucking high-end, invite-only spot, popping fucking squash blossoms and prepping them so that someone can go and cook them later on that dinner. So I've friends with very high-end chefs. I've ate at some of the most pristine places through relationships. So I'm hip.
So you understand the terminology.
I do.
So my relationship with food has changed a lot because the reason I left chefing or like fine dining chefing was because I fell out of love with the food because it was no longer a pursuit of chefing. It was a pursuit of perfection, and it killed my love for it. I was in a kitchen that was so fucking high end at one point. It felt like I was more of a mechanic and a scientist than I was an actual chef. There was no feel. It was just so precise to the recipes. It was so... And as I've gotten older, I've fallen in love with what I used to love when I was younger. Just my heritage's food. I love cooking with fire. My dishes... My death row dishes, I will put it as, because this is what I would serve to anyone as my last 3 dishes. I would love, as an entree or as a starter, I would love like a nice carpaccio, like a sliced raw beef, pecorino drizzled with olive oil, a touch of citrus, and just some real fucking peppery, like rocket on top. Or arugula, as you would call it.
No, I know what rocket is. And so basically you're leaning into the quality of the meat cut itself. So
like,
if you have the right...
the ingredients. It's just the ingredients. And then in my main, honestly, it could go one of 2 ways. I could just go just a straight up whole lamb on the spit.
As a swarthy Greek, of course you would.
Cooked over charcoal, or I would go... Honestly, there's just nothing better in this world than a perfectly cooked... I don't know what you call it in America. You call it a New York strip.
Right.
We call it Scotch fillet.
You have a
Scotch fillet.
Right, with a long fat cap on top.
Just a perfectly cooked Scotch fillet with the jus of the fucking pan. Mm-hmm. Just some broccolini on the side. Mm-hmm. Nothing crazy at all. I'm not a dessert guy, but if I could go a dessert, I would honestly just go a fucking rice pudding. I love a good rice pudding. But, see, I used to cook, like, with foams and... I used to cook with foams and gels and agar and all of these fucking things you're putting into this food that just turn it into something it's not, and then you blend it, you strain it, you add this fucking chemical, and then you let it set, and then you're serving it, but it tastes lesser of the ingredient that you actually fucking started with.
Look, if I had a chance to take you to my buddy Craig's Wolf's Mouth dinners in LA, you'd be blown away.
Have you been to Perth yet?
I've been to Perth, but
have you gone this trip?
But I was in Joondalup, I didn't get shit all.
There is, honestly, one of the best American barbecue joints in the world in Perth at the moment.
Really?
Yes. In Perth right now, there's this guy called Big Don's Meat. It's very funny, BDSM. Big Don Smoked Meats. He is from America.
Yeah.
Not even to a standard of an Australian barbecue, because we're trying to replicate Texas barbecue. You can't.
By the way, Australia seems like a perfect place for barbecue.
It is. So to replicate it, it's very hard. But this guy in Perth, Big Don Smoked Meats, I would love to get your opinion on it. Because
I've been to Terry Black's in Austin, and that's
very
fucking
good.
Incredible.
So there is comments on his page saying it's better than Franklin's, it's better than Terry Black's, it's better than everything.
I mean, it could be.
Insta. Wait up, we're gonna do this for you right now, Big Don.
Look, the first thing you got is a fucking low kick that ends up on the hip. Big Don's Meat.
Where is it? Oh my god, I got terrible.
Well, you got to
eyes.
get rid of the equals.
I got terrible eyesight. Is it there?
That's it.
That's it. All right. So, what do you reckon of this?
Australia's biggest barbecue
I'll
joint.
put this on so you can hear it, and I'll put this up here. It is Australia's biggest barbecue.
It looks like being in Texas. That's a Texas plate.
That's a Texas
that's
plate.
A sausage roll up there.
Yes, he does sausage rolls. He does Wagyu sausage rolls,
He
bro.
needs to have me there. I'm the sausage roll fucking king. I'm the sausage roll connoisseur. That looks amazing. Why the fuck did no one tell me about this?
That's food to me. That's food. Fuck all of this shit. That's food. Have a look at that.
I'm pissed.
Yeah.
I went to Perth and I ended up in Joondalup and there was nothing but Asian food everywhere. And I'm like, well, I don't feel like Malaysian or whatever. There was a Polish bakery that had a good sausage roll, and I'm just like, yeah, it's cool. But there's nothing around me.
Well, you said before we were. I was like, "What do you like to eat?" And you're like, "Oh, I know Australian. Like Australian doesn't actually have a food.
No, it doesn't.
Same as American.
Sort of. Yeah, it's similar.
No.
It is with a slight
What fucking food's American?
barbecue.
What food's barbecue?
Well, that is fucking American.
I don't know the specifics of it, but I guarantee that
like
derives.
Texas barbecue.
I guarantee it derives from somewhere
No,
else.
Texas barbecue, Memphis barbecue.
Well, we got pie floater. You ever had a pie floater, cunt?
What the fuck is that?
You put a beef pie on a plate and you put pea sauce around it.
It's shit.
Yeah, that's Australian food.
It's all right, but
Bush tucker.
like,
That's what we call it.
pie floater.
It's pie floater.
No, that's not. I mean, it may be very Australian, but
Schnitties?
What is that?
Chicken snitty.
The schnitzel?
A schnitzel.
I had a schnitzel here at a spot called Two Blind Mice.
We got graded schnitzels here, bro.
In where was I before this? Canberra, and it was good, but it's not a real schnitzel. And I told them,
Yeah,
as
but
such,
you've been to Germany or something?
They didn't. I have. They
Yeah.
didn't pound it out. They didn't do this. It was still good, but that's not a real chicken schnitzel.
See, do you know what? And even with Greek food, like, or Cypriot food and Greek food are
You
very...
have tzatziki?
Yeah, we got tzatziki. But Greek food and Cypriot food are different in the sense that we're closer to the Middle East, so our flavors are stronger.
Similar to more Levant food,
Yeah,
like Lebanese.
So, what did you just say, Levant?
Levant.
So, I did the 23andMe, or I did the spit test where it tells you what you are. Me and my ex did it, and my ex came back as a
a
bitter.
cunt.
Yeah, she just came back.
She came back as awful.
She came back as terrible. Nah, she's a lovely, lovely person. But she came back as like fucking this, that, like 20 things. And I was like, fuck yeah, I'm going to find out what's going on. I came back as 99.9% Levant. No, sorry. I came back as 99.9% Cypriot and 0.01% Levant.
You were like a bazooki played, and you ate
I
a
play
fucking...
the bazooki.
Yeah,
I can play it.
And then you're fucking jamming fucking...
You know the bazooki?
Yes.
I can play it. I've got
Get
a video
it.
on YouTube. Do you want to hear?
Yes.
Do you want to hear?
Yes. Do it.
Dude, really?
Yeah.
Why do you know what the bazooki is? What the fuck?
Look, dude, I know a lot about a lot.
You got jiu-jitsu autism
I
before
got
it
a
was
lot
cool.
about a lot.
See, wait. This is when I was 12.
Sava playing bazooki?
Yeah, that's it.
I like how it's already been seen once before.
Yeah, I watch it every year.
Ah.
How many years ago is that?
Oh, fuck. 16 years ago? This is why I like metal, by the way.
This is metal.
Look at you.
Yeah, dude. 12 years old. Just fucking
I'd slap that fucker around.
before
Yeah.
cocaine.
With cocaine, it'd be a lot faster.
But yeah, how do you know the bazooki? Jimi Hendrix used to love it.
Look, I know shit.
You know shit about shit.
I've traveled the world. I've been places.
See,
Look, I'd only been to Brisbane before this tour, but I already knew a shit fuck ton about Australia already. Because to me, trying to understand the ways of the world by and large is a one portal into trying to understand more about people in general, and the fact that there's so many amazing things about everything in the world that you may be able to if you meet them on their own level. Like, so I come here, I'm as American as it can be, but I don't try to meet anyone in my space. I try to meet them in theirs. And I want to eat local. What was the pub we went to?
the Austral.
I want to do that.
Honestly, I was going to take him to somewhere like nice, and then he goes looked at the Austral. The Austral, it's so funny that you pointed out the Austral, because the Austral on Rundle Street's like a a rite of passage for drinkers. The Austral's like somewhere all of us hospo kids when we were younger, we'd leave work and we'd go there and we'd all drink and have fun. Like the Austral's a very fun place. So it's like, I'll continue with your story, but it's very funny that you chose there.
I looked at it and just the energy said like, hey, what's up with this?
It's a perfect amount of shit.
And
it does metal shows. It does shows. It's
I don't want, when I would travel the world, and I've been a million different places, and there's still a million more to go to. I don't want to go what makes me feel like I haven't left. I want to go to somewhere that makes me feel like I'm somewhere specifically different and uniquely different and very different in its way, because that's the point of being somewhere else. It's allow it to teach you about what it is, and from that, see how much you have in common and see where you differ, and then weigh the two and bring that into your life. This is part of the reason why I love traveling the world so much. I got into fighting because I could see the world, have someone fly me out to do that, beat up their fucking local fucking people, and then
take their women.
Yeah, and then hang out.
And then just hang out.
Yeah. And by having that kind of attitude, it's allowed me to embed myself in with a lot of different people, because I'm not trying to make myself the center of attention or the thing that the world needs to bend itself around. I'm trying to be where the world is, not where I think the world should be where I am from.
Like when I used to travel a lot like you. Like when I went to Japan, I don't want to go to where the Westerners are. I don't want to...
TGI Fridays.
Well, I don't want to... When I went to Belgium, when I went to Greece, when I went to this place and this place and this place, you don't even want to eat where the Westerners are. You want to experience the actual culture. You want to go somewhere where they don't fucking speak English. Yeah. Especially in Japan. Like my best memory in Japan, we were talking about Mad Max before. So izakayas in Japan, they're the pubs.
Yeah.
But there'll be this izakaya in Japan and it'll have 8 seats and they'll serve one dish and they'll only serve sake or beer. And I walked into this izakaya one night and it had 4 seats and it was only for locals, and I just got in and they had 2-liter bottles of sake on the wall with all of their regulars' names on them. So no foreigners came in there. The guy I was sitting next to was a Japanese salaryman. And he was a massive drinker and he spoke English. So he was translating for me all night. And we were talking. And in Australia, I don't know about America, but bikies in Australia are like they're the gangsters. Yes. Like in Australia, bikies are
By the way, that's where Hector Lombard got his start, in bikies. And
is he a bikie?
He isn't, to my knowledge, although...
He lives in Australia now, yeah?
I'm not familiar. Hector?
Hector lives in Australia.
Look, Hector could be a bikie, because if you showed him what a bike was, he'd be like, okay, man. And then just fucking drive it. You fucking perfect cunt.
So it's
like,
different.
The fact that he can fucking, oh, hey, what's a muscle up? I'll do this. Hey, what's a flying round kick? I'll do that.
Kill people.
Like, Jesus Christ, you Cuban piece of shit. Why are you so fucking good at everything? If he's a bikie, I don't know, but I bet he can do that. If he's not a bikie, it's only because he chose not to. Fuck that guy, genetic experiment in that way.
In Australia, bikies are... We don't have... Now that the younger generation's coming up...
If you like bikies, watch a movie called Stone, by the way.
But I don't know. I don't think they're the same in America. Bikies here, control drugs. They control drug trade.
They do that in America, too.
They control,
They do that in America, too.
Yeah, so I'm not... Because you don't hear about it in America. You only
I'm not
hear
going to tell you how I know all this shit, but yes.
You're a bikie.
No.
Okay, I'm joking. Josh Barnett, Hell's Angel confirmed. But no, but I was talking to this. I was talking to him about the Yakuza, and he was like, the people love the Yakuza in Japan. Because no. Majority of us love them because they were majority for the people and against the government. But then I was explaining bikies to him, and I have this video on my phone, very funny. And he's going, so they ride around on the bikes with the tattoos like a Mad Max. And I was like, yes, Bikies are
Sort
like
of.
Mad Max.
Those are not Yakuza, though.
I met one in Japan.
The guys on the bikes are not Yakuza.
No. That's what I was saying. We were talking.
They're juniors.
We were talking about Yakuza, and he was explaining that. I was explaining. He was explaining.
Look, the Yakuza or
You would have a better insight on this to me, Mr. Barnett.
that's true. Yakuza are an old element, but what we know as Yakuza really kind of starts around the end of World War II, and it is heavily embedded in nationalism, Budo, and kind of certain gangster culture. But the bikies are not technically Yakuza.
Very different.
No, they're called Bosuzoku. And Bosuzoku are like youngsters trying to earn their membership into the Yakuza.
Do you have any previous experiences with personal experiences with Yakuza?
I could.
Could you relay any of them?
No.
No. Because it was gangster.
Look, you wherever you are in the world, if you have fighting, you have gangsters.
Crime. In Australia, we love crime.
Not because we're big on crime.
Do you like a reasonable amount of crime?
It's unavoidable.
Yeah.
Right? But
fighting in pride, obviously, you would have been around a lot of them.
I mean, look, there are statistics that will show like when the mafia had their highest aspects of control, that petty crime was at its lowest.
That's what I mean. They had control of it, and they were for the people majority.
In a way, right? Like there's Greek gangsters, Italian gangsters, all this kind of stuff.
Yeah, you don't want those people in charge. We're dickheads. We get overrun with power. I get 5,000
No,
views
you
on my
get so much
podcast.
souvlaki.
Yeah, we just want to steal all of it.
But you have euros.
We got euros. We don't call it euro.
Euros. All right.
Euro.
You love cucumber.
Euro's good.
You love cucumber in so many different ways.
Yeah, we like cucumber. In pride. So when you're
I'm just saying this. Like the gangsters, they know that they're gangsters. They know that what they do is illegal. So the aspect of having people do petty crime, thefts, breaking into cars, shit like that, like it just brings a spotlight onto them that they don't want. And it also harshes their populace around them, which also sustains them. So they don't want people feeling as if that they can't just walk out their house or run their business. But, gangsters will also run racketeering where they're like, hey, you need to pay us for protection or we'll bust your shit up. I mean, it's a complicated relationship, but...
Is that what ruined in your... I don't want to... do you feel like that's what ruined pride in the end?
No, what ruined pride in the end is they... some managers got involved with some high-level fighters and decided to test the open waters, not real open market, and traversed across some lines that incurred response that were negative towards the people doing it, and then they went to the fucking press. In Japan, the nail that sticks up gets hammered. Everyone knows that there is aspects in varying degrees of the underworld in what they do in terms of fighting. And the people attached to the fighters that were high level enough, that created enough of a furor for them to take notice, created this issue, and then it got put into the mainstream, and then it got hammered. That's what happened.
Which is a shame.
Well, it is. And look,
that was such a competitor for the UFC.
There's a dark side of the ring coming out where I'm on it, and there's other people, and we'll see what the fallout of that is. And what I say on there is not directly adversarial to any particular well, there is some that I do say that is adversarial to people that are absolutely pieces of shit. But other folks, it's not adversarial to them, but in my opinion, from if we're working from first, what they would know, what they already did know, that they were aware of, to where it went in the end to ending up in different scandal rags and things like that. It's not new to the people that reported on it. It is that in my opinion, they felt that it was an opportunity for them to cash in.
Yeah.
And they did so, but by doing so, it canceled us in Pride. And it's not to absolve Pride of whatever things were involved around them at the time, because some of what that environment isn't like a choice. It just exists. And with that, it isn't that the government is controlling whether or not you get to you engage with them or not. They just, like I said, they exist. That's just the way you have to go through things. Similar to if you are a person who is considered a part of a particular company within Japan, if that company then goes, if you say you wanted to ply your services with another company outside of that sphere, your company would then negotiate and they're going to get a cut. So if you want to throw a fit about that, you can, but that's not Japanese, and you're in Japan. That's a Western way of thinking. So you might do it, but you're going to create a problem. And it's not because it's because it's the way the system exists, and you're trying to second say it, and they don't have any space for that.
Also, fucking what the Fertitas and Dana did with the UFC, they were coming in so hard. So people
You're way
like,
more drunker than me, by the way, right now.
no
I
way,
can see
mate.
it.
No
I can
way,
see
mate.
it. You
No
really-
way. I've had fucking 10 more drinks than you. But like with
I
Lorenzo,
drank as much beer and more whiskey so far.
no way, son. I just sunned you. What Lorenzo and the Fertitas and Dana were doing in the UFC, do you think that put pressure on Pride?
No, not at all.
Not at all?
Nothing they did had. Oh, it's an IPA. That's why.
Do you like it?
It's okay.
That's South Australian.
It's okay.
That's not. So that's our biggest beer here. They sold for like $500 million to Asahi.
Well, Asahi made a big.
Asahi own this
I'm
now.
just kidding.
Asahi own this.
They own Cooper.
Asahi own Schweppes, which is Pepsi.
Yes. Asahi makes great beer, but
Asahi I believe they bought Pirate Life.
Pirate Life, huh? Well, I'm not the biggest IPA guy in
You'd
the
be
world.
a pirate guy. You'd like pirates.
I'm alright with pirates. I can drink grog.
If you weren't a Viking, you'd be a pirate.
Well, how do you differentiate between Vikings and pirates all that much?
One rapes.
They all rape.
Pirates don't rape.
Pirates don't rape.
Nah, not in my
What
country.
pirates did you what book on pirates did you read?
Ugandan.
You get
They definitely did.
Somali pirates don't rape.
Somali pirates fucking get
I
after
remember
it, son.
Look,
Did you see that Congo article? Did you see it? I'm sorry.
Which one?
The Congo one.
it was explain to me.
It was like 2 weeks ago.
Was it in BBC Pigeon?
I don't actually know if I can even say this on camera.
I like that there's something that you're like, I don't know if I
Nah,
can say
this
this.
is like a bit much.
I'll tell you my Somali story when you do this.
There was it was in the Congo actually, sorry. There was
That's a fun place.
yeah. Yeah, if you're fucking Justin Wren, and you're getting malaria every second day, fighting for the kids. Fucking, in the Congo, there was a jail, and they had a mass exodus. They had an escape, and they all escaped. And they went, I don't know who.
By the way, I was listening to a whole podcast about Katanga and Mobutu and all the different like way America was fucking with the Congo.
I don't
and
know.
different shit. Yeah.
I don't know who architecturally planned this, but they put
Probably us.
They put a it was America.
Probably.
They put we're helping the world to America.
Fuck yeah.
They put a women's prison directly next door to a male prison. So these don't laugh. Don't laugh
That's
yet.
fucking awful. That's just a bad idea.
So these men have escaped, and they've all immediately gone next door and viciously raped and burned all the women.
God.
And it's not funny.
No.
But it's like, why would you do that?
I don't know.
It sounds
Jesus fucking you couldn't chat one up.
It sounds like
And, they're
Chicago
women
post
prisons, right?
George Floyd.
They're women prisons, right? They're in prison.
Yeah,
you
they're
couldn't
fucking
chat one
helpless.
up. You couldn't chat them up.
No.
And they wouldn't be like, this sounds fucking way better than my life
But
right now.
why wouldn't you go home?
Oh, God.
Why wouldn't you just go home, Mr. Josh Barnett?
Oh, that makes me want to cry.
On the scale of on the scale of a podcast right now, are you having more fun than you did with Lex Friedman?
Fun? I mean, that's relative, but
That was a heavy story to land that
fuck,
that on.
that's fucking sucks.
Did you not hear about that?
No.
That was like 3 weeks ago. The thing is, you can't change the world. So this is the Australian way. I can't change the world, but do you know what I can do? Talk about it.
Fuck, that's just fucking awful.
Yeah, it's terrible. But do you know what? Heaps of atrocities happen in America, and
Yeah.
America's fine with it.
We're fucked.
Do you know what gets me about America the most? The school shootings. Yous are so fine with it. Yous are so demon.
We're not. We're not fine with it.
No, but yous are very not. What do you say?
Can't stop it.
Not normalized. Yous are conditioned. Yous are very conditioned to it.
It's too.
Mate, if
there's too much exposure across too much of a landscape. It's out of your hands.
What are you? Do you believe in the Second Amendment?
I do.
Do you believe in it to a point where you're scared that anyone can get a gun? Is the question.
I believe that my populace is far stupider than they should be.
How would you, if you say you're King Dick right now and you're advising the president, what is a way that you would deter this? There's no way.
You can't.
You can't take everyone's guns. You can't, because everyone's got them.
Even if you try to take the guns.
So you're
all right,
fucked.
You take the guns. Let's say you take the guns. They still exist.
They're still there.
By the way, there ever any shooting in Australia still?
Pardon?
Are there shooting in Australia?
No.
Never.
Not mass. Not mass.
Not mass, but they exist,
Oh,
right?
there's shootings, but not mass. But is that so? America's got a mental health problem.
Massively. But
Like,
you think
but,
Australia doesn't have a mental health problem coming up too?
But it's just the it's
Yeah.
It's.
I'm just my point is.
I understand.
Is
I'm an avid shooter.
Yeah.
So I understand, but I just don't understand.
You can't find hardly anyone more pro gun than me. But
Yes.
I grew up hunting, fishing, shooting, but also shooting and reloading.
So
like I made my own ammo.
But what
all
is
this.
it? But what is it with America? To like, if I had a child, I would not have any problem.
Where you have that child armed.
But I would not have any problem whatsoever sending my child to a school.
Yeah.
In your head, you would have to have second doubts.
My concern about sending my child to a school has little to do with school shootings.
Really?
And more to do with the general cultural aspect around the schools and everything else in the world.
So would you prefer
I'm homeschooling.
freedom?
I'm going to homeschool my kid.
Would you prefer freedom
Freedom. You can say it a few more times and an eagle's going to show up.
But that's the thing. Like people talk about Australia like we're not free. Like, would you prefer your so-called freedom that you're allowed to shoot a gun?
We're freer than you.
In what way?
In the legal way.
What way?
But not in the
legal way. What way? If you get caught, some black people or whatever in America, when you get caught with marijuana, you're in jail for fucking 28,000 years.
Depends.
It depends. In Australia, you don't get that. So it's different.
You don't even have marijuana in Australia.
Adelaide's a weed state of the world. I'll give you a bong right now. I got a bong over there.
I didn't see a fucking ounce of weed in this place. I can go down the street and buy as much weed as I want in California.
I had fucking 2 plants behind that shed.
Yeah, but by and large, you would get fucked for it, if they decided to do something about it.
It's a fine. Like, that's the thing. Everyone has this misconception about Australia that we're not free. We can do whatever we want here.
Well, I'll say this. If you're out in the outback, you can do whatever the fuck you want.
If you're in the outback, you can smoke crack and shoot.
If you're out there walkabout.
Shoot. Do you know what you get done with here? Shooting a kangaroo. You shoot a kangaroo, you're fucked.
What if you punch him?
Hilarious video.
Then you protect your fucking dog. Right?
Shangulous. Oi, mate.
Yeah. But no, all I'm getting at is that.
But how free do you think you are?
My point is de jure versus de facto, right? You have what is in law and what is allowed, and it varies from state to state, from place to place, and city to city. And look, I'm super pro gun, but at the same time,
but how free? Fuck guns. How free do you think you are? How free do you think you are, Josh Barnett?
50%.
Do you think I'm 90?
I think you're 90.
Well, like, I can do whatever I want.
It's like this. It's like this.
It depends what your moral compass is.
No, it's not. It's not even about that.
I can't go and fucking knock a cunt out for no reason.
You can't.
I can't.
I could.
That's not good though. That's a moral compass.
That is an internal discussion.
Exactly. So how
internally, I'm 100% free because you can't take from me what I own in myself.
No, that's different. But legally,
I'm just speaking from legally wise.
Because that's
we're not
freedom.
supposed to knock cunts out for no reason.
I love
we're
how
not
you're using
to,
cunt so loosely right now. You're.
I'm on an Aussie podcast, so I'm using it right.
He's an Aussie king right now.
Like, look, Ammos. If you hear me say cunt, realize where I'm at. This fucking cunt across from me is smoking a fucking dart, and we're drinking tons of booze, and we're having a good time. But the point is that freedom has a few different elements. One is what is enforceable versus what is the law.
What I want to know though, like what I'm getting to, is what can you do that I can't?
Well,
like, what is your freedom? No. This is a very, very, like, I'm not asking you that in an aggressive way or anything, but like for all the Americans, because there is going to be a lot more Americans.
How many
watching
Americans
this.
do you get on this podcast?
Honestly, like 30% of my podcast is American.
Fucking loser.
Losers.
No, you're the loser. You only got 30%. Can't bump those numbers up.
I'm doing the Australian market. The world's bigger.
Hey,
the world's bigger.
Get Craigo on this thing.
Get Craig and he'll blow up. But like, honestly though, serious question. What do you think in a day-to-day life that you can do or say that I can't? Can you call like?
I could probably like.
You can shoot a gun.
I can Bryce Mitchell myself out there.
I can.
And I'm all right.
I can. Hitler was a good guy.
No, stop! Fucking don't do it. Don't fool me into this.
But I won't get kicked off for saying that because I don't believe it.
You say that now.
No, but I won't.
It's a very delicate area to fuck around with.
But I would never do.
Not a good idea.
No. But like, do you know what I mean? Like,
no, I hear you. I'm just saying that. Like,
I'm saying it in a conceptual, like in a.
Look, I don't
believe that. By the way,
I'm just. Fucker.
I don't believe. I genuinely don't.
I love it. He puts a fucking disclaimer. But my point is that there's a lot of gray areas amongst what we allow. When I say we, I don't mean me. Like it's not me deciding these things. It's about, be it Australia or be it America. I think that maybe within this year and within maybe a few things, I think you will probably get more particularly egregious legalese applied to you, whether they actually do it or not, depending on where you're at, than we will in America. But ultimately, what it really comes down to is that I think we really lost our way about...
Exactly. Like, what does it mean to be American?
What does it mean to be American? Well,
what does it mean? It's so lost in the fucking translation now.
It's similar to what it means to be an Australian, and that is both Australians and Americans have this concept of the frontier mindset, where this expansionist, but we've already expanded as far as we can go.
Exactly.
But what are we going to do with what we have? And you have American Indians, you have Aboriginals, you have all these different people. We have multicultural folks from everywhere, and finding a way so that everyone can fit in appropriately. But yet you have to have an overarching standard so that everyone can align themselves within, and everyone can be on a same page in that element, within then also having their own personal ethnic, cultural, religious element. And I think what we're dealing with is this is a difficult puzzle to solve because it's never really been done like this before. Where usually, whether it be an Islamic caliphate or like the Ottomans we talked about earlier in the car.
Fuck those dogs.
I know. As a Greek, I get you. As a Greek, or if you were an Armenian, it'd be the same way. I do like some of the Turkish foods, but
Delicious.
In any case, yeah, we can agree on that.
You can't hate the son for their father's sins.
They're delicious, and I'm sure there's like super fucking dope fucking Turks out there that are awesome as shit.
Great fighters as well,
and hot chicks, hot Turkish chicks,
beautiful girls.
Yeah, right on. But
just rape and pillage.
Yeah. Well, I'll leave that to you. So, in any case, it's trying to find a way to fit in who you are within amongst what is the overarching hegemonic order, right?
Yeah.
And sometimes what the hegemonic order has to be is something that can allow a bit of a universalist existence, right? So that everyone can be amongst that. That means you have to ditch some of who you are so that you can be a part of what everyone is. And that can be very difficult for people.
But yeah,
look, you're Greek and Italian.
I'm
right?
Greek.
Or just Greek.
Purebred.
Just Greek.
I'm a purebred Cypriot.
Are you an Orthodox?
Orthodox Cypriot, purebred.
Okay, so
First generation.
But if you can take that Orthodox Cypriot element and confine it within yourself and not expand it to others, then
that's also just not being an extremist, like,
so to speak. But realize most of human history is what we would consider extremist, right? Like they didn't allow for exceptions, although within the Persian Empire they allowed Armenians and others to exist without even dhimmi laws to tax them extra amongst living within the Islamic Empire of Persia. But that isn't always the case. And people are going to want, be it the Ottoman Empire, the Persian Empire, they're going to want you to at least adhere to what they consider their overarching most important structures of how law should be considered. So you could go to a place that could say you can operate this way, but not that way, right? Maybe they could say you could drink, but you can't be drunk on the street, sort of thing. Like it's sometimes it's in the margins. Sometimes it's more direct or deliberate.
But directing you back on the point, what does it mean to be American? Because to me right now, honestly, I've got everyone in Australia and everyone around the world, whether you like it or not, we all grow up around American culture.
No, you can't help it. You can't get away from it.
You can't. So I know more, like we were talking in the car, I know more about American politics. I know more about American culture than Australian culture. This isn't like, to me, it's gonna, I don't know if it comes off rude or not, but to me,
even if it's rude, it's fine.
To me, America seems like Pamela Anderson.
That's fine.
You used to be the fucking queen.
And even when she
and
was
now you're not.
FYI, even when she was a queen,
had herpes.
If you saw her,
the bitch had herpes, but you still fuck her. You'd still do it. Do you know why? Because you're a fucking man. And that's fine. That's the American way.
That's a great response. But I was just going to say...
I'm Craig Jones, baby.
Craig Jones!
Shout out to Craig Jones!
No, but I was just going to say that if you saw her in person under the right light, she doesn't appear as a queen, right? Like, all of us are subject to how different scenarios might portray us.
Do you understand? Do you understand what I'm saying?
I get 100%.
Like, America used to be the crowning jewel of the world.
Yeah.
You used to look up to America and you used to be like, okay, but now...
Do you know why that is?
Why?
Because we fucking made you.
Yeah, but that's the thing. But now it's like a comedy show.
We literally
look at you,
would directly influence you, and then we would do it backhandedly and put NGOs on the ground and fucking start up color revolution shit and make you do that. That's why we do. Look, America's whole one of its driving mantras was to create a unipolar economic world order that the rest of the world would fall under.
Yeah, and Trump's trying to fucking do that right now.
No, he's trying to revamp that.
With Trump coin, he's trying to centralize a coin.
We'll see what happens, because you need to understand that when you deal with Trump, you deal with Trump first, then America, then everything else. And as long as you see it that way, you'll understand why he does what he does. Trump is the perfect representative of what America is at this point, but he's also a part of any kind of dissension amongst a global world order towards what America is, which is something that has decades underneath what that structure is, towards these systems that are branched out amongst all aspects of Western society, and even elements that are not Western. If you were to define the West as things that are related to, within Europe, Western Europe, I also consider Japan under the West, even though it's not technically a Western nation, but we have a lot of influence over there. Australia, anything within the Commonwealth.
You have a fucking chokehold on so many countries.
We do, and it's true.
Do you know what the thing is? Like, you have to respect it, because much like you.
Even if you don't like it, you still have to respect it.
No, like you, I have a very, very deep love for. I don't even think I'd call it history. I'd say like war history.
Sure.
Like, I love.
It's the rawest way that you can get an interest into anything.
I love listening to dictators. I love listening to oligarchs. I just any kind of superiority where they excel, like Genghis Khan, Adolf Hitler. Like, no. I'm not like not like listening to them as in a sense that you like adore them, but listening to their strategies, like war strategy.
Okay.
Like Genghis Khan, you can't deny that he had the greatest war strategy of all time.
He was very successful at what he did.
He was the most. And same as like Hitler. You cannot like him as a person. Terrible person, in my opinion. In my opinion, I will never vouch for that. I'm not being funny right now. I don't think it's funny to talk about the Holocaust in a funny way.
You're not Bryce Michelin, right? Huh?
Yeah, I'm not Bryce Michelin. I don't think it's funny.
Sorry, Bryce. I don't think you meant harm, but you fucked yourself.
I would go fishing with him, but that's about it. But like, just to say that he had no mind for war is ridiculous. I really love listening and watching war strategies, and America is just one big war strategy. That's all it is. It's, we're going to invade here. If you think 9/11's real, you're a fucking retard. It's all planned. Like, do you know tell me what you think about 9/11, Mr. Josh Barnett? You're an educated man.
I don't know what 9/11 is.
You're the rocking it. You're the rocking it right now. You're Dwayne Johnsoning.
I'm just
You're
saying
Dwayne
that I
Johnsoning.
don't know what 9/11 is or what it will be, but
As an
I
educated
think
man, you thought 9/11 was a terrorist attack from the Middle East.
I don't know what 9/11 could ultimately unravel itself to be. Maybe in time we'll get more information on how that actually lays itself out.
It's a very perfect media response.
Well, it's to say that
Dana White trained you himself.
no, Dana White's not the best media trained person. I mean,
He's the worst.
He's
the worst.
Fuck that guy. Fuck this. Fuck
Fuck
that.
that guy.
Yeah.
We're not talking till Tuesday.
But if there's elements about 9/11 that are
Egregious.
the whole thing is egregious. If there are things about it that are how do you say, like, contradicting or
Planned.
all things that fall under that umbrella, there is a potential that could be.
You don't think it?
I hope that amongst where the Trump administration is releasing or driving into put out into the world things around MLK, Martin Luther King. What else did you list? Epstein files.
MLK, Epstein files.
I mean,
and
MLK. We already know
aliens.
that Martin Luther King is involved in some very
Wait.
not good stuff.
We're going to pause for 1 sec because I'm literally about to piss my pants.
Oh, sure.
Okay, so
Do you even remember where we were?
no, we finished that.
Look, at the end of the day, if you want to put a button on something, whatever it was we were talking about, look, what it comes down to is that people are varied greatly across a lot of different ways and spectrums, and
I just want people to stop talking shit about Australia.
I think
I'm sick of it.
you know.
I'm so
do
sick
you really
of it,
feel
Josh
like
Barnett.
people talk that much shit about Australia?
No, but the most important person talks about it. Not the most important, but my
Trump
favorite.
talks about Australia?
No, fuck Trump. But my favorite person. I see Joe Rogan, and I see Joe Rogan. I see
Joe Hogan.
Joe Hogan. I see him talk shit about Australia. You want to talk about a fucking mate?
Take it with love, because the American, the stereotypically American concept of what Australia is like
but people
everything
have
will
such
kill
a
you.
misconception
No,
of
it's like
Australia.
wild
right?
motherfuckers with V8s doing hooning all over the place, and then spiders and lizards and things are killing you left and right. It's like this idea of Mad Max without guys in shoulder pads and V8s. Well, the guys in the V8s are there, but that, like, scorpions and snakes and bullshit, and like, oh, look at this, the cutest animal I've ever seen. Oh, I'm dead. That's
fucking bullshit.
right. I know it's not like that, and
It's
I get
fucking
that.
bullshit.
Look,
We're just honestly, Australians. We're just a bunch of guys trying to drink as much beer
No,
as we can
look,
and meet a big booty Latino.
I love the shit out of Aussies, and Americans have more in common with Aussies than we don't. And that's something that unfortunately a lot of Americans don't understand because of lack of interaction with different Aussies. I knew a girl I think she was from Perth, actually, and Perth, and she, in her belief system, wasn't all that outside of what you would consider the American or American uni.
We call that
conceptual.
we call that fucking retarded.
You can call it whatever you like. She wasn't uniquely
lager.
outside of that, but also, I remember throwing fucking axes in her backyard because a friend of hers
You're
built
trying
up
to be a
some.
Viking.
No, it just was what it is what it was.
You're that
And
hell fucking weird guy at parties. That's
she
like,
had like a bunch, like someone made a target, and then they had a variety of little tiny like hatchets and knives, and like it was this target was made so they can fuck around, drink, and throw them into the target. So I did what little knowledge I had in terms of throwing knives and throwing hatchets. I taught her, and it was fun. She drummed too. She was a drummer, and it's lovely, right? And ultimately, I think that like Americans and Australians have so much in common with that frontier mentality, with the V8 mentality, with the fact that we have the dichotomy of having to deal with, deal is not the right word, but having
just divide. I got such a different opinion because I don't have a different opinion, but I wasn't born here. I mean, I was born here, but my parents weren't. So I don't like. Well, you've heard obviously about that. You're very well versed on history. You love history, so you know a lot about the Aboriginal history with Australia.
a decent amount, yeah.
You know enough. You know probably more than me. I don't have any white guilt at all. That's what they call. But do you know why? Let me talk to you, Mr. Barnett, right now.
Yeah.
I don't have any. I've gotten into many arguments in town over this when we've been drunk because I don't have white guilt because we didn't colonize this shit. My parents were getting raped and pillaged. My family was getting fucking murdered in fucking Cyprus. And then they fled to here. And you're trying to tell me that I should be ashamed that I'm Australian? Go fuck yourself. Like, I'm proud to be Australian. I'll always be proud. And I'm very sad what happened to your people. I'm very sad. But you're talking to the wrong person because my atrocities happened 30 years ago. Yours happened 200.
It's just that the fact that to get into the minutia, the detail of anyone's lives is to ask far more of people than usually is considered. And we have more of a tendency as humans to generalize. And the generalization isn't done to diminish somebody else. That's
It's
the thing
not.
we have to.
That's the thing. I'm not diminishing. I'm not diminishing your trauma.
No, I'm not saying that that's the case, but
just don't diminish mine.
well, look, the generalization of the way that people approach the world is an easier way for them to navigate these different ways of exploring. Well, God,
But
I'm
if
trying-
you want to
Look,
sit around all day and be the victim and grab your dick and be the victim, that's fine. But I'm not going to be like that.
Well, understood. But all I'm saying is that the generalizations they exist as such because to get into the nitty gritty, into the more detailed and minutia of anyone's particular position, becomes more of a specific instance where by using the generality, it's so much easier to approach a subject or an issue than it is to streamline it down to something like, oh, hey, this guy's white, but he actually came from Cyprus and he brings his own trauma from this, that, or the other thing.
I'm not going to take your shit.
And, you know, the biggest thing is to take the generalization, to be a person who operates on the generalization and then say, hey, you have the exception. Don't force the exception to fit the rule. Instead, allow the exception to exist and know that human beings, whatever are capable in one place, are capable in another.
Have you ever been in a... Actually, this is a good question. Have you ever been in a fight, street-wise or physical, where you were like, oh my God, I might die?
No.
Have you ever been in a position where you felt
Every MMA fight...
Have you ever been manhandled?
No.
No, in a fight? What was the closest that came to it? Like, the Crow Cop fights, you came pretty close in most of them. I believe the first fight was pretty hard for you.
Well, I dislocated my shoulder in like fucking 30 seconds in the fight.
But actually,
So there was like zero fight left in the whole thing. It's like, oh, my shoulder's out.
You've never been in a position where you felt like 100% vulnerable, even in training?
In training, sure.
Against who? Multiple.
You wouldn't even know.
Countless.
I mean,
people.
look, that's the point of training, is to put yourself in the worst positions possible and to work through them. Eric Hammer has put me in.
So no professional fights in your life you were like, I'm not good enough?
No.
There was never a moment?
Never.
Really? That's
No.
fantastic. Do you know what? The mindset of that, I've never understood. We got two boogeymen in Adelaide. There's these guys, the Spacey brothers. They are, without a shadow of a doubt, if they had the correct management and they had the correct, I don't want to say drive, because they have the drive. If they had the correct management and the timing was right, because timing's always gotten involved, they are world beaters.
Spacey brothers.
The Spacey brothers, bro.
Okay.
Like
what
Jack,
weight are they?
Jack Spacey, he lives 5 minutes from this house right now. I would put him in a striking match against any lightweight in the world.
What has held them back?
Injury, family, just whatever's going on in his head. Like,
Well, I mean, you have to look at those things and say
Started
that
late.
that is a part of who
it's
they
a
are.
but like this bloke, man, you look, I remember he has a shout out to Space Fit. He has a fitness thing where he gets blokes in, does one-on-ones with them now. I've trained with a lot of people in my time, Mr. Barnett. And I don't obviously, I haven't trained with the caliber of people that you have, but I've trained with very high level people in my life. Training with Jack is something so different. It's like when you see he's got a David Goggins-esque mentality. We were training in his shed. We were training. And then we did an ice bath and a sauna. And we were sitting in the sauna. And I'll never forget this. It's etched in my mind forever. We're training in the sauna. We've done the ice bath in the sauna. 4 minutes, 5 minutes, no talking. And he just looks at me and he goes, do you know why no one's on my level, Sav? And I was like, what? Well, I'm just a normal dude. And I was like, what are you talking about? He's like, because no one's willing to do what I'm fucking willing to do.
But is he willing to win?
He's fucking willing. I believe he's 11-0 in Muay Thai.
What was holding him back?
Matchups.
Okay.
In Australia, it's very hard to get matchups.
He hasn't left Australia yet. He hasn't gone to Thailand. He hasn't
He's
gone
got
to
a family,
Japan.
he's got a kid. He hasn't taken the leap. So honestly,
Well, I mean, but then it's a choice,
It's a
right? I mean,
choice.
it's a choice.
But-
And look, I'm not going to say what's his name.
Jack Spacey.
So Jack Spacey is still winning because he has a kid.
He's the
He has
best.
He has a wife,
Honestly, the best form of a man I've ever met.
and he's a Muay Thai guy.
Muay Thai and his brother Trent, who is
Do you think
arguably
he could beat John Wayne Parr
beat the shit out of him.
or like
Beat the shit out of him.
So
Beat the shit out of him.
But
Without
here's the thing.
a shadow of a
But
doubt.
here's the thing. From your perspective, amongst the competitive element and the...
If you put Jack in 4-ounce gloves, he wins a one championship.
Sure, I get you. But I'm saying... So within your perspective of competitive sports, this is a guy
has different
that
morals.
is potentially capable of beating everyone.
Everyone.
But for him...
He's held himself back.
But we, you and me, and whoever is listening, needs to understand that there's a potential aspect where this guy, Jack Spacey, he's content within his familial life
He is.
to do things this way.
He's a very happy man.
And look, do you know how amazing that is to find that in your life?
He's
Like,
a very
look,
happy man. He's a great dad. Like
I
he's
don't know Jack Spacey, but if
He's a
Jack
boogeyman,
Spacey
man.
could be the ultimate Muay Thai killer in his weight class Whether or not he ever expresses that by going out there in the world and proving that so, versus being the man that he is now and focusing more on being the best husband and father he could be.
And that's what he is.
He's not wrong either way.
Yeah.
And
have you ever, so honestly though, I'm going to say something right now. Shout out to Jack. We're very good friends, but
by the way, look, Jack, if you want management, I'm a manager. If that's what you're looking for, I could potentially help you. But if it's more important to be the best husband and father you can be, which, by the way, is more important than being the best fighter in the world, then I understand that as well. And I also support that. So I'm not here to sit here and say that because you didn't accomplish one element of prize fighting amongst everything else, when you, let's say, raise your kids properly, like that takes far more precedent and is a more valuable endeavor in the world than however many people I may have beat up.
Like, honestly, man, this dude Jack, he amplifies what it means to be a good person more than anything. You know, when you go to a gym, so if no one's ever, I honestly feel really bad for men that have never been to an MMA gym.
Yeah, I can hear that.
Like, if you go to an MMA gym, you really find out who you are in the pecking order.
Sure.
But
and you learn to take an ass whooping and come back.
But that's
you learn to be a part of that process.
You just like, I know that I'd get absolutely fucking melted if I went into town and someone knew how to fight really well.
But they usually don't they?
No.
But you know why you won't get belted? Because you have your mates with you.
Yeah.
Because you built those mates by being in the gym and training with them and going day in and day out and taking, either you whooped their ass, they whooped yours, and you showed yourself to be a person of character.
Did you ever, in your training career, did you ever have a Jack Spacey? Like a dude in the gym who was like, oh, you could be like a world champion.
Sort of. I mean, look, I was the guy in the gym that destroyed everyone. But regardless of the gym I was in, I know a guy named, I hesitate to name him, but I'm going to name him. So, Trevor at AMC was a part of a lot of people's fight camps and such, that people that fought in UFC, fought abroad, fought all over. And, Trevor got them ready at AMC Pancration. Now, Trevor is a world beater in the gym, but competitive-wise was not able to really
put it together,
deliver himself in the way to be a full-fledged version of who he was.
Sounds like Adam Jones.
Yeah, possibly so. I mean, you told me about Adam Jones being 6'8" and this, that, and the other. Like, he sounds like a fucking beast. So, I say, like, look, whether Adam Jones can compete under the spotlight is one thing.
He's a fucking coward, dude. Honestly, he's a coward.
But if he can defend himself in an instant of life or death, more important than
honestly, if it came down to it, if me and Adam were in a room, I reckon I'd walk out. Why are you looking at my legs, cunt?
Not me. I can't see him.
Adam's literally taller than that. That fucking whoa.
Oh,
have you never met him?
You know you're gonna have to see Adam at some point, right?
No, I'll fucking knock that cunt out. I'll punch him.
All right.
It'd take me 2 steps.
Sure.
It'd take me.
All right.
I'm level. I'm eye line with his cock. I'll just punch that cunt straight in the cock.
I like that there's an Adam Jones that exists in the world that would just molest Craig. Yeah, I love it.
Adam Jones. I'll show you what I won't show you, but I have Adam.
You play the bazooki, so you can. Yeah.
I have Adam saved under my phone as Craig Jones's brother. Because that's what we call him.
Ah, fuck. Yeah, Craig's great.
But Adam, honestly, all shit aside, Adam is honestly just as good as a practitioner of jiu-jitsu as Craig.
Maybe so. I mean, look.
They were absolute. It's absolute with Lachlan Giles. Lachlan Giles in. That's where Craig was.
Yeah, I know.
Is that absolute? Wherever Lachlan Giles was, they were under the tutelage of Lachlan Giles. Adam was there with Craig the whole time. Like he's just as good. Craig,
I can believe it.
Craig just has something.
Craig,
just has.
I would say part of what makes Craig is that his ability to adapt and and adjust and bring more things into his repertoire and helps him to be a better wrestler.
And Adam's just as good. It's just like there's always something about someone that makes them special.
Yeah,
that's just how it is. Like you get is Faraz Sahabi ever going to get a GSP again? No. Never.
Probably not.
Ever. Never. You will never get a GSP again. You'll be chasing your fucking ass trying to get him.
What also emphasizes the element that people like a GSP are rare.
Yeah, but
right?
But
you know, when you have a guy that can go out there and accomplish.
Walking into your gym, like, hello, I'm GSP. I love missionary sex. I love missionary sex, and I like to come inside women. That's how I imagine that happened. That's honestly how I think that whole thing happened.
Sure it did. I'm sure that was the first conversation they ever had.
I guarantee GSP only likes to nut in women. And I respect that as a man. I
mean, it's procreation. So
he's only going for procreation. He's trying to spread his seed, and I hope so because he is the perfect specimen.
Look, if we had more people derived from GSP in the world, I wouldn't be upset about that.
Yeah, if we had more GSP and less Bisping, we'd be good.
Wow. Hey, you know, Mike is pretty good with this quick wit.
No, don't even start. Mike's my top. So my top 3 podcasts of all time that I want. Obviously, it has to be Brogan. Never going to happen. Bisping, Tim Dillon.
I'll say this about Mike.
Mike Bisping is the funniest.
Mike trained with us at CSW when I was there for a little bit. Combat Exhibition Wrestling under Eric Paulson. He came in. Great training partner.
2 eyes at the time?
I was there. I trained with him. Mike was a great training partner. Egoless. Fucking fun to fuck with. Like he just Bisping was a killer training partner in that it's like he set his ego at the door and walked in. And that's a really great thing to encounter with an athlete. And I got great rounds with him. He was fun. He had a good energy in the room.
Don't start me with fucking Bisping,
and
bro.
I don't know how he would be with other people, but he's from Australia.
No, his missus, Rebecca, the Carl Wayne.
I don't know his what, Mrs. I'm sorry.
Rebecca Bisping's from Adelaide.
I had no idea.
That's why so whenever they venture to Australia, he likes to come here because he brings Rebecca and she's from here.
No clue. I had no idea.
Michael, I had such a... I'm calling him Michael as if I know him. Bisping, honestly, is one of the best commentators I've ever heard. Mm-hmm. You know, Michael Bisping, he's grown on me so much, man, in the last 5 years. He's almost at GOAT status for me. Ever since that documentary, I didn't realize how many trials and tribulations he'd been through and how similar to me he was. Because I used to put myself in such hard situations when I was younger for no reason. Mm. And just, he fought through them all and he got there. And then he lost his eye and he didn't complain about it.
No, he didn't.
And he fucking got a world championship from Rockhold. The hottest man, Johnny Cage. The Johnny Cage of fucking MMA.
One guy got lax, the other guy came with it like he meant it and took it from him.
But his wife, Rebecca, she's Adelaide. South Australia.
No idea.
Yeah. So we got in Adelaide, Craig Jones, uncircumcised, and Rebecca Bisping. But
Fuck, you're really digging deep, aren't you?
dude, I fucking jumped on Craig's leg. I thought it'd be cute. I thought I was being cute. We were drunk as, and I jumped on his leg, and his toe held me, and straight up broke my ankle. I swear, I woke up the next day and I was like, "Oh my god, I can't walk."
I just love rolling with Craig, and he goes, "My neck is fucked. I just don't want to. I don't want to deal with it anymore."
Do you still actively do rounds and shit?
Yeah, of course. You
Always
know,
like with randoms though, or only with select people?
depends. Like if it has to go with randoms, then I'm gonna kill them.
Do you feel like you're a? Do you? To me, you're like it's weird because you're a celebrity to me. Like to me, you're my Tom Cruise. You know what I mean? I don't want to
Aim
fucking
higher.
suck your dick. Oh,
Aim
you
higher.
fucking grabbing a smoke cunt.
I'm grabbing a dart.
You're having a dart. So to me, you're a Tom Cruise. But do you?
I
Feel,
don't believe in Scientology.
Do you feel like you're the perfect amount of fame?
No.
Like you don't get noticed, but you
It just
still
depends. Well, I don't get noticed in
you still
Australia.
get that bank.
Look, if I go to certain, if I'm in America, I get noticed. If I'm in Japan, I get swamped.
You got that Japanese. You got the yellow fever.
No, it's just I spent so much time over there.
What's your favorite? All right, here we go. I got Japan. I got a deep affinity for Tokyo or Osaka.
Tokyo.
Which prefecture?
Me, Mitch Ward.
Ward. Which ward?
Niju Hachi Ward. Yeah. I kind of have a bit of a sweet spot for Koenji, which is outside of Japan.
I'm gonna give
Which
you
is outside of Shinjuku.
I'm gonna give you one. Shinjuku, Shibuya. Shinjuku or Shibuya?
Shinjuku.
Better
Yeah.
food. Where does Pride usually take place?
Saitama.
Is that in Tokyo?
No, it's on the outskirts.
When I went to Tokyo, Osaka, Fukuoka. You like that?
I haven't smoked a cigarette in forever. Yeah.
Is this your first cigarette in forever?
Yeah.
On the theseshwithsav podcast.
Yeah.
Can you say that?
Sure. What on the set with Seb podcast? Yeah.
That's unbelievable. What was your favorite? Are you a yakitori or a ramen guy?
Depends on the night, and the ramen is incredible in Tokyo, and it's also cheap as fuck.
I went in peak summer, so I didn't like the ramen. Obviously,
Why?
I love ramen.
It's too hot.
I love ramen.
And it heats your body up.
Yes, I love ramen. Don't get me wrong. I fucking love ramen, but I have a very deep affinity for yakitori because it's a drinking food.
True.
Like,
izakayas are great because an izakaya will deliver a variety of foods right within their menu usually. So you can choose kareage or you might have like a special ramen they might offer, or different fish dishes or chicken dishes or various different things. And that's the nice thing about izakayas is that they will offer
Have you always been a
variety
big
of stuff.
drinker?
You know, my family's big drinkers.
But same. We got a long line of alcoholism. That's the one that kills us. Alcoholism. My granddad, shout out to Big Sava. My granddad, I'm Little Sava.
You're a fucking Greek, so yeah.
I'm Greek as fuck. My granddad, bro, 2 wars. Like a G.
2 wars?
2 wars.
Which ones?
Turks. And he got an Anzac medal.
Holy shit, this cigarette hits me quick.
You love that? You're smoking it. Asher in the tray, cunt.
I don't.
Christ, Josh Barnett.
I'm more Aussie than you.
Mr. Barnett. Just,
More Aussie than you.
Oh my
I just
God.
drop my ashes wherever.
just dropping it wherever.
Drop a fart now. Yeah.
You farted in the car before.
I farted, yeah.
You farted in the car,
For
cunt.
sure.
I fucking know you did. I didn't want to say anything.
You say it. Hey, look. How much of an Aussie are you if you won't fucking say anything
You're
about it?
Aussie as fuck, cunt. After this podcast, we're probably going to drink another 10 beers and listen to some hardcore. But fucking, in Japan, was that your favorite stint of your career?
Yeah, that was the best. And by the way, this cigarette has amplified everything.
You love it?
It's okay.
You love it.
I like nicotine.
Joe
It works.
Rogan gives you cigars. The Seshwithsav gives you cigarettes. I'm Joe Bogan.
Joe Bogan. Joe Bogan.
Joe Bogan. Joe Bogan.
Joe Bogan.
But so, do you feel like Japan was the funnest time of your career?
Yeah.
Was it just the atmosphere and everything?
It was actually, I would say what it is about Japan is the fact that they remember who you were when they met you.
Yeah.
To the point to when they
They
at the end, right? And the Japanese have a long sense of history towards how they approach things, whereas in the West, we tend to now have a very short-sighted mindset towards how we approach or how we think of different individuals or different things that these individuals or approach or associated with, right? So the fact that I can be in America and there are some people that remember me for what I did. Other people will like
PEDs, brother.
Sure.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I had to drop that one in. Have a look
They're
at
the best.
Have a look at these bad boys.
They're
It's not that
something.
good.
There's something.
I don't believe that he did PEDs, by the way. I'm just giving him shit.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter at all. The point is that the Japanese are generationally and historically minded, whereas a lot of people in the West now, not necessarily due to their own decisions or
So that's funny you say historically minded, because my favorite memory of Japan is walking into a little fucking shitty izakaya and having the best night of my life, and then asking the old just woman that was there. She would have been 85, and I was like, "How long has this been in the family?" And she's like, 500 years.
yeah,
And that's so normal.
yes,
Like, it's in Australia, you're lucky to get a business for 20 years. In Japan, everything's so preserved.
whether it be preserved or not, it's just
That's the same as China. Like, everyone shits on China. Everyone's shitting on China. Do you know what China love? Their own country.
they do.
What is America like? Their own country. Who preserves it better? China. Honestly, Mr. Barnett, China is everything America wants to
My
be.
cigarette died.
Your cigarette, you're not smoking it fast enough, son.
It's dead.
Do you know what I mean, though?
Not exactly.
Do you understand?
Being historically minded means that you remember where you came from. You remember what
They're not
what
scared.
difficulties-
They're not scared to preserve their history.
Right, and that's important because history informs you about where you came from to where you are, and to where you potentially could go, and that forward advancement isn't just about like high-minded ideals. It's about who you are as a person and who you are as a people. So it's tough. It's really tough to. I said tough. It's really tough to.
Bit drunk, Mr. Barnett.
Yeah, I am. But actually, the thing that has affected me the most has been the cigarette. So, by being able to be engaged with where you're from and where you're going is important towards building something that has the potential to be better than where you used to be. But it's tricky because at the same time, you have to also keep into consideration that don't overlook where you started from. The things that didn't involve you, that your grandfathers, your great-great-grandfathers, all these things that have built into you that have created the opportunity for you to have what choice down those roads that you have now. And to think that your history is simply based on the element of what you chose today is really detrimental, because it neglects what got you there to that point in the first place. And to say that everything about where you're at is all awful, right, is a really cheap way of looking at your position within the history of where you're at.
Well, Mr. Barnett, I will not keep you too long because we're about to get more drunk and listen to some metal. I thank you so much for coming on this podcast and giving me a chance. Like, I cannot even explain to you how much this means to me, man. Like, I've met you from the start. I've tried to be cool and stuff, but you are such a influential figure to me and a lot of my friends. You are such an important person to all of our lives. And in the MMA community, we can't thank you enough. Like, honestly, man, in Australia, in anywhere in the world, I can't thank you enough for being here right now. Ever. You are so important to the MMA community. You're very important to all of our lives. You are... I just thank you so much for giving me this little opportunity. And I would love to give you the proper Australian send-off and see how quick you can neck a beer.
I'm wrecked.
So, I'm going to neck this one, and then I'm going to switch it over to you. Thank you, Mr. Barnett.
Thank you.
I'll see you at the bottom, as we say.
Damn, he went for it. Holy shit, it's spilling down his shirt. Right on.
Thank you, Mr. Barnett.
Glad to be here. Glad to be on this podcast. And just to illuminate that the world is big. The world is varied, yet the world is a Venn diagram. And meaning that you have more things that will overlap with you than don't. And when you engage someone, whether it be in Australia, if it's an Aboriginal, if it's a Samoan or a Tongan or a Maori, anyone from any other historical lineages, whether you be an Anglo, all of us are human beings first. And that's what's most important. And realize that the things that you want are more like the things that other people want too. And think about ultimately what gives you meaning is not really that far out from what gives other people meaning. And with that, connect with others. Go to other places.
Thank you, Mr. Barnett. Oof.